Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. This is good. Can you stop? This is going to be video 2.
I didn't know where to look at first. I was like,
where's the camera? This is going to be my second commentary. We did the Spider-Man
we need to
commentary.
continue doing that.
We said we were going to do a series and we never did movie 2. So we got so far. But we are going to do The Last Jedi because we felt in a strange way, we felt in the mood to watch this movie. So we are at 0 seconds, right? Or 2 seconds. So if you're going to watch along with us, buy it because it's a good movie. I like the movie. He not so much. I'm gonna try to convince him. Buy it, yeah. The director's commentary is actually really good.
Just get Netflix.
Or just rent it. Is it on Netflix right now?
Yeah, I think it's still on.
Watch it on Netflix. We're gonna start it here. We're gonna talk about this movie. Here we go. Starting at 2 seconds. In 3, 2. Edit. I hate this.
And now.
Play. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Lucasfilm is popping up.
Is the sound on?
I have no idea. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. A staple of Star Wars movies. If you've never seen one before. There we go. Star Wars. Now this, I remember liking this movie. I don't remember this movie at all. I'm joking. I actually really like this movie. I know it's very divisive. A lot of people don't like this movie for various reasons. A lot of the complaints are justified, but a lot of them are ridiculous. So we're going to get into that.
The First Order reigns having I don't want to read.
Decimated the peaceful republic. Supreme Leader Snoke, everybody's favorite character, possibly Mace Windu, now deploys his merciless legions to seize military control of the galaxy. Alright, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I actually like this crawl. It sets up the story nicely. Almost immediately after Force Awakens, which is interesting. Usually that does not happen with Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I kind of wish now, like, because at the time I thought that was cool, and it obviously made sense with the cliffhanger for Episode 7. But now I'm kind of like, I kind of wish they would have maybe taken, like, a year or two.
I honestly love how this movie starts, though, because it starts with the bombing sequence, with them getting off that planet, because obviously the First Order knows where the
jokes,
Rebel
though, are
Alliance is.
a little too much for me, I think.
I just like how immediate the response is after The Force Awakens. It's like, okay, they just blew up our Death Star 3.0. We're going to get them, like, right now.
Right.
We know exactly where they were, because that was the plot of the last movie, is they found them, so they need to do everything really quick.
Right.
And so why wouldn't they go immediately after them to try to wipe them out? This movie doesn't pan up, right? All right, if The Last Jedi, or if the Rise of Skywalker
There's only
pans
one
up,
movie that pans up.
Isn't that the worst one, right? Clone Wars? Or
I believe
Attack of the Clones?
I believe it's, yeah. Episode 2.
Yeah. Oh, the music in this too, because this mirrors A New Hope too. The music during that part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is in A New Hope. Let's get... Also, Billie Lourd, awesome and book smart. I wonder if she's gonna have a bigger role.
That's awesome. I think she will.
Yeah. Also, we're not going to be talking too much about The Rise of Skywalker. I have not seen any trailers. I'm going to link below my trailer reaction, because that is something
I should have done a trailer reaction on your channel.
For my channel. We should have done that. Yeah. But I've not seen any trailers or anything. I've been avoiding everything. I just need my fix of Star Wars in something, so...
One thing, I don't really like Hux.
I know they put him as, like, the butt of the joke in this movie, which... It's a choice. The humor, I know you have a big issue. This thing is awesome with the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
I wish that was a Lego set. I don't think it was.
I don't think so, because I would have gotten it.
John Williams. This is going to be the first and not last time that I mentioned John Williams.
Do you think John Williams is done after Episode 9?
I kind of hope he is.
I think he will be.
Because he did Solo's theme in Solo.
Yeah, he didn't do the music in Rogue One, right?
No, he did not. It was Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
I think at one point, who was originally doing Rogue One? Because I know they changed composers last minute, which is why a lot of people have complaints about the score. But I actually really love the score, especially at the end of Rogue One. And then Leia, of course. I wonder what they're gonna do with Leia. Obviously, I haven't seen any trailers. So I don't know how much she's shown.
Yeah, I have a thought,
but
yeah,
who knows what they're gonna do with her. And this is the mom jokes that Harloff from Collider always complains about, which I think it's fine.
And it's just it goes a little too long for me. I think it's funny at first, like that right there. That's funny.
Yeah. See, and I see what they're trying to do, like mimicking the Solo.
But see,
from
even Hux here, like
He's a little too serious.
Yeah.
I think like Hux is a little bit too self-serious, and he's not self-aware of who he is. I think that is where the humor kind of falls flat. It is funny for like a Marvel movie. I think a lot of people compare it to Marvel humor. I can see the complaints on this one. Yeah, this is where it starts going a little bit too long.
But then he's doing it for a reason, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Story-wise, it makes sense. A lot of things in this movie, story-wise, make sense on paper. Like the longest space chase, which we'll get into.
It's a good movie on paper. It just doesn't translate.
Where I will actually give a lot of defenses to the slow space race, but this scene is awesome. Yeah. BB-8.
One thing that I'm very frustrated with the episode 7 and 8 is R2.
Yeah. I never thought about that
thing.
until you mentioned it like a couple weeks ago, with R2 not being as instrumental. But at the same time, like, what happened to R2's rocket boosters from the prequels? Like that type of thing. They gave him a little bit too much to do in the prequels, where we were kind of expecting him to do a lot more when he was just really there to open doors and be comedic relief with C-3PO.
Then keep that going. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Don't just put him under a sheet.
Yeah.
Like I get like you want to sell toys with BB-8 and stuff, but like. And now they're introducing the new droid Dio, and it's like, just be careful with that, having too many.
I had no idea what that droid's name was, so thanks for spoiling that. This guy is also super intense, the guy on the Dreadnought. It's great.
Oh.
The sound design. Yeah, Star Wars sounds perfect. When I did, also, plug this, I did a Star Wars short film called Stormtrooper. I messed around with sounds a lot, and it was fun. It's good. And BB-8 doing the BB-8 things. I love this.
Yeah, BB-8's awesome.
I feel like this humor fits.
Yeah, no, this all works. This all works.
I think, when does the humor, like, not work? I know this. I think maybe DJ a little bit for you. That's just character-wise. That's not really
I don't really like DJ.
I have a way to defend DJ when we get to that part. This guy's so intense.
Like, I get it.
He's
it's
so
just,
angry.
Yeah, on paper, it would have worked. It just doesn't translate to me.
There we go. Get rid of the resistance base right away, which starts off the entire plot of them being on the run. Which I like the resistance being on the run the entire time throughout this movie. Wish it was a little faster, more action.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily faster, more action, but have it feel like there's more stakes. Because they're all on this one ship, and if they get rid of the ship, the resistance is done for, right? You don't really feel the stakes until they're on that final planet, and they're like, "This is all we got, and nobody's come to help us."
Right.
Which I thought was a really cool thing. We'll get into that. That nobody was there to help them. So, I don't know, I really like that idea. And
see, this
LEIA.
works. If you want comedy in Star Wars, leave it to the droids.
Yeah. Because BB-8 is hilarious.
Think about
in the
it.
first movie.
In any comedic relief, in any of the originals, or even in the prequels, it's all
either
the droids.
And Han and Chewie.
Yeah, well, Chewie.
Yeah.
Mainly. So it's
Han, are you kidding me? When he answers the phone call on the Death Star, and he's like, "Oh, hello, how are you?
Oh, and episode
Everything's
7.
fine here."
Oh, really? You're cold?
Yeah. That's not how the Force works. Everybody after this movie.
Yes, pretty much.
Yep, and then here comes the bombers. This also one complaint that people have about this movie, how the bombs work, it just like dropping. There's gravity in the ship. And, like, if something starts off with force, right? If it falls through gravity in the ship, it's not all of a sudden going to stop when it gets to space.
Yeah.
It's going to keep
It's one of those things that, like,
Common sense.
After a while, though, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like, does that make sense? But then you think about it even more. It's like, yeah, there's gravity in the ship. Like, come on. Some things, like, look, he's walking there. See? You know, they never did anything zero-G stuff in Star Wars, huh?
No.
I wonder if they would ever do that. Or if it feels like that'd be too realistic
Probably
for Star
too
Wars.
Realistic
Yeah.
for Star Wars, yeah.
Oh, I love
That's
that
a
shot.
great
That was a
shot.
shot from the trailer. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to start off, like, end off on this big space battle like they usually do. This movie starts off with it.
They really haven't had a massive space battle.
Rogue One.
Well,
Not in the new trilogy.
Yeah. I think we're probably going to
We're probably due for one, yeah. Cause
I mean, to be fair, in 4, 5, and 6...
This is also kind of a Death Star.
Yes.
No.
Yes. There's Death Star tech in this movie.
There is Death Star tech. I was just about to say that.
At least there wasn't another actual Death Star.
Yeah. That's my favorite part when they're like, oh, it's made from the Death Star. And they're like, oh, they had to throw it in there. They just couldn't help themselves. But yeah, see, this place
what
has
is
gravity.
it with blowing up planets, though? Like,
They're not trying to blow up planets here. They're trying to... I mean... Yeah, they're
They
like, we're
love
evil,
blowing
we're
up
gonna blow up
planets.
this planet. This part was kind of like, oh crap, when all of them start taking each other out.
Yeah.
I think this movie sets up so well with the stakes. I'm like, okay, here we go. It does halt a little bit.
It starts off really well.
Yeah.
Other than the Hux joke stuff that goes a little too long.
Also, I like how they set up Rose's character. It falls apart, but the idea of this, I think they could go a little bit further with her character in episode 9. I hope they do, at least.
I think they're gonna probably take a step back, to be fair.
Really?
I think so.
I
think so.
That's my one biggest fear about episode 9 is ignoring this movie. If they ignore
I don't
this
think
movie,
they'll ignore, but I do think that they'll take a step back with
Yeah.
Rose, because in this movie she's
just supposed to be a main
a
character.
prominent side character. Is essentially what she was in this movie. Like, not a main character, because the main character is like Kylo
And
Rey, blah 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 blah. She's a prominent role character, right? I think they're just gonna push her to you're just a role character, you know, just a tier down.
Yeah, if you were to take like this movie and compare this trilogy to the original, what was Rose supposed to be? Because obviously we have Poe being the Han character.
That's the thing. It just
also
I think
hold on,
it
wait.
was too
I'm
much.
gonna halt this conversation really fast. First use of silence in this movie that I think is great. That silent moment where she gets knocked down, awesome. But like if you think about it, you know, Poe is the Han character, right? Rey is the Luke character. You got Finn kind of being the Leia type character ish.
Essentially.
I think that and then Rose, Empire introduced Lando, right? Which this movie introduces DJ to kind of take that spot. Who is Rose really?
That's the thing. She doesn't fit.
Yeah.
She doesn't really fit. That's why I think they'll take a step back, which sucks.
Yeah.
It does, because it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know but here's the thing though. You have to admit
this made my heart stop when it. So I can use this.
When you make a mistake and when it fails,
either
don't force it. Don't continue.
Don't try to force it to work. Yeah.
Right.
Or make it like if it's natural in the story, make it work.
Right. But if it doesn't, and if it doesn't help the story move forward, and you feel like you're forcing it, then take a step back. And
also, I think I was wrong there. It's not the gravity that's pushing them down. They're on racks that push them down, and then it goes into space. Yeah, that's what Rian Johnson. I believe his Twitter is great. I love following his Twitter. Because, you know, he like kind of embraces the hate. You know, he's not one who got scared off of Twitter through the hate, which he easily could have done. But, yeah, this guy. R.I.P. Dreadnought down, but at what cost? Which this starts what I consider being a great arc, and how I will defend the slowest space race is Poe. Because like I will say that he messed up here. He really did. If that's the rest of the Resistance, right? This all they have. He just lost half their fleet, over half of their entire fleet, gone.
To be fair though, in his defense, the Dreadnought would have taken them all out.
In the slow space chase.
Yes.
Because like at this point they still don't know that they can follow them. So from Leia's perspective, right?
From Leia's perspective here, so if they just left, if they would have just left and then they would have caught back up,
it probably still would have gone down the same way, but maybe she'd be less mad at Poe.
Maybe, but they would have had to do it no matter what. And at that point, you're already caught off guard.
Yeah.
Right.
So in a way, like story-wise, it was a good decision because
at the end of the day, it was a good decision for Poe.
But it didn't really stop them. It didn't let them get away necessarily because they still would have had to deal with it. They still would have left the fleet. Maybe in this way they probably lost less people, but no matter what, the Resistance was in a tough spot in this movie. Which being able to chase through light speed. What do you think of that? I don't think I've ever talked to anybody about that.
I think it makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
And they haven't established that you can do that because they've always used light speed to get away.
Yeah.
So
I guess first example of them, Rian Johnson subverting expectations. Take something that we've always known in Star Wars, something that was always been a scapegoat, and it works.
And it does work. It's just it didn't sustain.
Yeah.
With the slow chase, but it did work.
It did work. I do like the choice. What did he say? I think I missed it. Finn leaking
I
back,
feel so
something
bad
like that.
for Finn in this movie. It's just he goes nowhere.
Yeah. I do think we'll express it more when it happens. If Finn died in this movie, it would have been a lot better arc. He would have actually had an arc. Although he does have slight of an arc because if you think about it, going back to
it's the same
Force
arc
Awakens,
as Episode 7 a bit.
Well, he was always trying to run away. It's still kind of the same.
It's the same
rough.
arc.
Yeah. This time he's chasing more so Rey than running from the
Yeah, I think we'll be happy at the end of the day after episode 9 that he's alive. Though.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to do some cool things with him.
Also, another divisive moment in this, which I'm curious to see what you think of Luke tossing it away.
Right? I would have rather have him just drop it.
Just drop it?
I don't necessarily...
It was played for a joke, definitely. I don't think it was...
It was played for a joke, and it mocked the moment when it was such an amazing moment at the end of 7.
Let's see how the music deals with this. Because if the music cuts off like it's really a joke, then I guess so. Or maybe we took it the wrong way. Intense story? No, it's definitely setting up for a joke.
Yeah.
Yep, set up for a joke.
So, instead, what if he just dropped
and her little turn here. I remember that being kind of funny. She's like, what?
Yeah, so what if he had just dropped it instead?
Yeah.
You know? The one thing, though, I do like is when the Porgs are playing with the lightsaber. And they actually did film it. If you guys haven't seen it, go look it up. They actually did make the scene where the lightsaber turned the lightsaber on, and it just kills the Porg. It's hilarious.
It's so good. Also, I do like the native people on this place. They add like, good little bits of humor that does work in the Star Wars world.
That's the thing. In Star Wars, all the other droids, aliens, whatever, they can make the jokes, but the people... they don't necessarily... That's why it works so well.
More or less. So I think... I haven't watched Force Awakens in a minute. Does he have that kind of sarcastic thing with the... Not as, like, obviously to that extent. But he does kind of have that sarcastic, tone to him in the first...
See, this scene right here. Yeah. It does go off.
I was hoping so badly in theaters that it happened. Also, this little island is awesome. Also, another subverting expectations. They set up the shipping down there. Maybe Luke did take it at the end, but as we'll get into, Force projection. One of my favorite Force powers. And old curmudgeon Luke. Like, whoa, Rey. That's Chewie.
I did like how they set this up.
They should do an edit where it cuts from this to Luke like sitting in front of TV watching The Force Awakens. I love this room.
I do like the competition though between these two.
Yeah, that is good. When he's more of a serious character, they do play him for like the end of a joke, but. And Snoke as a character, I find him more...
What he says there makes a really good point.
What does he say?
With Hux being, like...
Oh, yeah.
Putting fear in him, and so he does everything that you want him to do, type of thing. Yeah.
And that's how they've always done it with Palpatine as well. They always have to have that Tarkin character in there. But yeah, I've always seen Snoke as more... Because everybody had all those theories and those expectations. Like I said, I'm avoiding Star Wars trailers now.
Him being Plagueis.
Yeah, I avoided trailers for this movie as well. So like, even when I found that the salt planet at the end of the movie, I thought that was beautifully visually, and that was not spoiled to me. I saw that for the first time in theaters. Awesome. Even this room. Like, I saw all of this for the first time here, which maybe helped with my expectations on this movie and me ending up liking it. Because I didn't have as much of expectations and theories and thoughts of how this movie would go down as many people did.
Yeah, but at the same time, when I tried to like it, after I saw it for the first time, went back and saw it again, and it just didn't work for me. But
because right now, at this point, you're still really liking this movie.
Yeah, so far, solid start. There's some weird moments with the jokes and the lightsaber throw. It was a bit jarring. But at this point, I'm liking this. I'm loving that Snoke is in it.
Yeah. And Snoke
right away.
Even just pushing down Kylo Ren, saying that he's still unbalanced, like he's saying. Yeah. Also kind of mentioning people's complaints about...
And I love that. Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah. People's complaints about Force Awakens and how Rey was able to defeat him, even though he was literally shot with the gun.
Yeah, he was shot with the gun.
Yeah, with the crossbow. That they set up to be a very powerful weapon. Star Wars fans, man. Do I disable comments? Also, another thing I will plug in this, well, not really plug, but if you have not seen the Everything Great About The Last Jedi from Cinema Wins, watch it. He makes some great points, some great, like, defending this movie in a very intelligent way. I love Cinema Wins, so. Also, music. Again, John Williams. Second reference.
But I think at this moment, this is the first thing that happens in 8 that will be not necessarily retconned, but just fixed. Literally.
What, the mask?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see that as a retcon. I think that
not a retcon, but it is. He's fixing it.
I see that more as Kylo Ren really trying to hide who he is. So if they do try to do a redemption arc, he's trying so hard to make that evil side of him, right? If he fixes the mask and puts it back on, he's trying to hide how he truly feels. So maybe if they do a redemption arc, that mask can kind of symbolize it. Yeah. Him trying to hold together his need for the dark side when his true good nature is pushing through. But, like I said, I've also not seen any trailers. I don't know how it's going to go down, but... Music. John Williams. Also, okay, here's one thing that I will say about this movie that I think, in terms of The Rise of Skywalker, and Rey being a nobody, I think The Rise of Skywalker is mentioning Luke, and this is where it starts, because Luke has lost all hope. He says, you're not looking for me, you're looking for the guy who everybody, held up and fantasized about, like, this legend, even that they mention in The Force Awakens, like, oh, is that guy real, type thing? And here's where it really introduces the idea that Luke hates that idea that he is a legend. And by the end of the movie, Luke's arc really is accepting that that's who he is and that's who he needs to be in order for good to continue in this world.
Right.
Which I think is one of my favorite arcs. Ha, John Williams.
Yeah, Rey's score is great.
Yeah. Honestly, top 3 Star Wars themes. Along with obviously the Empire's theme, the main theme, and then Rey's theme. I love it. You think it's weird?
Yeah, this was again another jarring thing, but it does show you where Luke's at.
Yeah.
But don't love it. Could have done without it.
I think it shows like the weirdness of Star Wars. Yeah. Star Wars can be weird. I like weird movies. I just saw The Lighthouse. It's a weird movie.
And come to find later, he's doing all this without the Force.
Yeah. This is just Luke being awesome. Because he is awesome. Look at that porg. A lot of work for a fish. I do see, like, watching this, I never really thought about that, like, him not using the Force through any of this, right? He's been just surviving just pure will. That's it. I need to download this score right here. That's a good one. Mark Hamill's great.
I hope they go into more stuff with this. And 9, just a little bit, like going into
the origins of the Jedi.
Yeah, or even with the Sith too.
Would you think they wait off on that until Benioff and Weiss's series?
Well, I think what you can do, since Palpatine is coming back in some shape or whatever, some shape or however you say that, I think you can dig into it a little bit more with like Sith relics and she has the books. Like, you can do some interesting stuff without going too deep into it.
Yeah.
Because if Palpatine does come back, how do you kill him? Right? How do you officially get rid of him?
Yeah.
It might have
that just made me think of the whole, in episode 3, he found out how to cheat death. Right, that's what Plagueis was able to do.
I think they're gonna lean on that. And
I just thought about that. Maybe they could bring him back in a physical form. I don't know.
And maybe there is a way to actually kill him, and it's a Sith type of a thing, right? Who knows?
This movie is so beautifully shot. This is where Rian Johnson really shines in this. His direction. story-wise, you can say creatively that way, but on a technical level, this movie, the production design, like this set right here.
And you can tell Luke has done a lot. You know, he's searched for a lot, and in between 6 and 7, he's been out finding temples and stuff like that. So you could go off of that.
What do you think of the idea of having Sebastian Stan come as a younger Luke Skywalker? Do like a Luke movie or series down the line.
I think at that point, I think CGI will be good enough where you can just de-age him.
I'm not sure. I think I'd
or
rather
use
have
his
a
voice
recast.
and just
because like even if you de-age, even with Gemini Man, there still are like I haven't seen the movie, but I still hear that there's some stuff that just still do not.
Yeah,
work.
but
they're always gonna have the uncanny valley.
But in 5 years, who knows?
But then that movie might aged horribly. That's the thing. That's the dangerous part about that. And I think Sebastian Stan, if you look at some pictures of them side by side when they were younger,
it didn't work with Han Solo or with Solo. So
yeah. That's another one.
I think
like,
it's
who knows?
a very touchy subject with just and Star Wars in general too. It's hard to.
Oh, The Force Awoke in her. Get it? Force Awakens. Good movie. I like Rey trying to just like search through her past. This is where I do like. This is where like my opinion kind of differs with a lot of people of her being nobody. I've always liked the idea that some random kid like a Luke Skywalker that's growing up on this random planet Tatooine can go out from being a normal farm boy to saving the galaxy.
And I would be okay with that if 9 wasn't the last one. If we had a 10, 11, 12 and we could dig more into her character and build her story.
I think that's where you get away from the Skywalker saga then, because if she isn't tied to any of it by the end of everything, they could continue on with these set of characters and just not have it be part of the Skywalker saga. It could start back over to another fresh episode.
But if you're ending official and what they're literally saying this is the end.
Yeah.
I don't think she can be just a nobody at this point, because it is a Skywalker story and they have said it and again and again and again. It's a Skywalker story. This is the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to
end
has to be with Luke's legend being.
She doesn't have to be a Skywalker. She doesn't have to be related to anyone, but she does have to be connected in some sort of way.
We'll get into that more when we get towards the end, because I do want to do a little talk afterwards. Here we go. So this is at this point I would say start paying more attention to Poe as a character, especially in this scene where you really see he doesn't deserve at this point. Because like he lost half of their fleet, right? He doesn't deserve it at this point. He doesn't have the benefit.
If you really think about it, the Dreadnought would have caught up to them, and it would have either been the same thing happened, or it would have been worse. But
I think that's a point where this movie starts to introduce. This movie. Okay, ready? This time watching it, I'm gonna try to fit a new theme into this movie, right? The theme of consequences. This movie has a lot of storylines where people go out to try to do something and it doesn't work out, and you really feel the consequences for actions. This movie, or Poe's arc in this movie, is a huge one. He made a decision. Clearly now the First Order is able to follow him. Oh my gosh, Snoke ship. Consequences. This is the first in many consequences, and the reason why Poe is demoted and why he doesn't deserve the luxury to know what's going on. Which I get complaints.
Right, but see, here, at this point, if they had the Dreadnought, right, it catches them all off guard. Yeah. They're not in their ships, right? So the Dreadnought already would be firing on them.
They would already be doomed.
So, at the end of the day, at this point right here, Poe is right to destroy the Dreadnought.
Yeah. But still, he's hot-headed. Yes, she agrees, yeah. In the end, that would not have been a good idea. Right. Wasting the rest of your fleet.
We're about to see right here, they get half their ships blown up right here.
Yeah, that is also true.
So, if the Dreadnought was there, they would have been done.
Yeah. Also, another thing, which, like I said, I've not seen trailers for this new movie, but you were saying that they might be doing a lot of misdirect for the Last Jedi trailers that I did watch after I saw the movie. A lot of misdirect with this scene and like what Kylo Ren was going to do in that ship, and I think it ended up being correct, right? Because it made it look like he was going to shoot Leia, and he does.
Yeah.
So that was a reference into...
We thought it was it's one of those in the trailer that we thought it was a misdirect, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and that's shocking. But then the
Last
Jedi trailer...
He didn't shoot.
He did not shoot. Another misdirect
and you
that they
can
do,
see
though.
his panic when
Yeah.
it does happen.
The trailer does misdirect eventually, though, when Kylo Ren is like offering for Rey to join him, and like he puts out his hand, and it cuts to Rey talking to Luke.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a different location, so always look out for misdirects in trailers, which is always what is good for marketing to do. Is don't give everything away.
Yeah. See right here.
Yeah, consequences. This is where this movie starts to be. Nothing good happens to these characters. Really. Like, if you think about it... Oh, there goes his head. If you do think about it, this movie, nothing goes well until the very end. And even that doesn't necessarily go well, because they still lose a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Right?
And BB-8's antenna is crooked now.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important plot point.
Yes.
Yes.
The one thing I hate that what they did with this, and this is the point where Ryan didn't do enough fan service, is General Akbar.
Akbar, yeah.
He totally
I forgot
screwed
about
him.
Akbar.
Totally screwed Akbar.
Where's your trap?
Like, he has a couple lines, and then when he dies, then they're like, oh, and he was among one of those, and it's just like, really? Like, to us, Akbar is important. He's a big character to us.
Yeah. Do you think they see each other in this moment?
Possibly.
The first kind of hint that maybe even if just slightly, I think maybe.
We do know that she's in tune with the Force in some way.
Yeah. Because of Mary Poppins Leia.
Do you think that that Luke trained her?
Do you think she protected herself with the Force right there?
Maybe. I don't... It's hard... See, this was hard because if you want to do that, but still have Leia survive...
Yeah.
I think you could have done it in still a different way instead of doing the Mary Poppins look.
It looks funny.
It does.
Yeah. I like that. I like this is where it starts being more realistic, which I think Star Wars fans had a problem with. Where, like, you know, ships need fuel. Smaller ships, they're more limber, they can move faster.
I'm fine with that, but for it to last the whole movie, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So you can still do this for a short amount of time.
Another use of silence here. This very quiet, like, hits. Very sad moment, too.
When that happened, though, that moment, my heart just literally dropped, right? And then when this happened, it was almost like, oh, you just retconned what you did. Mm-hmm. You know, and, like, that's fine. It's just, it was a little quirky with how he did it. Mm-hmm. And it just looks, it doesn't
And this is where you get to a point with the Force, right? With, like, it's telekinesis, right? Mm-hmm. Reference movie Chronicle. Can they fly? If they were to use the Force to pick themselves up.
Look good.
That's what it seems like, yeah. Music is great, though. John Williams.
Yeah, the music's great, but it just doesn't look good. Mm-hmm. You could have done it in a different way, in some sort of different way. Yeah. You could have done something.
Also, people complaining that she was able to, like, get in if they open the door, or, like, when they get sucked out. There was another door there.
Yeah, there was another door.
There was another door. This is, okay, here, let's go backwards on my own ideas here. That's kind of opposite of consequences. That could have been a great character moment if she did die there, right? That would have been a huge, huge knock for Poe, right? You, in a way, this is kind of your fault. Like, he would, like, not in, like, it wasn't his fault, because obviously it was a smart move to make, him blowing up the Dreadnought. But you could make the argument that Poe would, you know, blame himself.
This is one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
Yeah. I wonder if porks taste good. They're so sad. This one's my favorite. The one that just stands there. All sad. I like the porks. And flying away looks so funny.
And then you can see Luke go.
Yeah, it's sneaking in there. I never noticed that. I don't know why I never noticed that.
This is one of my favorite scenes in this movie. I love this.
Wasn't that in one of the TV spots?
Yeah.
How dare they? See, that's the type of stuff I don't like being spoiled in trailers. Visual moments like that. Dice, yeah. Solo in retrospect. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you watch the movies in order, right, chronologically, that has more impact. There's good old R2 asleep again.
I get he can't get up the stairs.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his jet things.
Whatever happens to that though? They never explain that.
It's probably in the comic. This brings you right back to the originals.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people, the people who don't like this movie, especially what they did with Luke, everybody says this is a great moment. This is a great Luke moment. I think this is one that you cannot argue against. Say what you will about this movie. Rian Johnson gave us this scene right here. Fan service?
Yeah.
Audience to Rian Johnson. Obi-Wan series.
About time.
It's gonna be good.
Tomorrow, at dawn, 3 lessons. I will teach you the ways of the Jedi, and why they need to end.
Alright, when I initially saw this movie, I always thought that maybe the Jedi did need to end, right? And that's what Rian Johnson was trying to say. I've completely turned back on that, because I can see how people can have issues with that. That is not the message of this movie, because Kylo Ren says at one point, you need to let the past die, right?
Real quick though, this is where they mention Akbar.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar, all our leadership, they're gone.
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Leia was the sole survivor of the bridge. If she were here, she'd say, save your sorrow for after the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To that end,
You see the other BB droid.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. I've never noticed that.
Vice Admiral HOLDO.
Introducing Holdo, which I think she's a great foil for Poe's arc. If you look at it really closely and see how, like, this movie tries to be a lot deeper than some Star Wars movies, which I think is a great move on Rian Johnson's part. But I think a lot of it was lost on the argument that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, which I don't agree with. Which I love her speech here.
In every corner of the galaxy,
You know, giving some hope to this movie, and kind of Rian Johnson's message, which sometimes feels forced, especially when it comes to Finn and Rose's storyline.
this resistance must survive. That is our mission.
Did she say the spark line? Or no?
Stations.
Yeah, she said it.
She does? Oh, she did say it? Alright, I love that line.
May the force be with us.
That's one of my favorite parts of this movie. We are the spark that will light the fire that will burn the First Order down.
That's Admiral Holdo? The Battle of Kylo involved Admiral Holdo? Not what I expected.
See, he does come off very cocky,
Yeah.
which is definitely the point.
There's a very limited amount of time for things to happen.
But see, right here, it's just like...
Yeah. Also, okay, hold on. Looking at this perspective, right? Us as an audience, we've been told that Poe is a main character, right? That he is one of these characters that we are following. He's dressed the same as everybody else there. He was not in that room. He never deserved to be in that room with all the leadership. If he were, he would have died, right? Which is a good way to introduce him into a leadership spot. He needs to earn it. Like, at this point, if you just say that Poe is now the new leader of the Resistance because Leia's out and this person is out and all these people are out, right? He needs to earn it.
Yeah. But what my problem is just the way Holdo treats him.
Yeah.
And it's just like... Alright, come on. Like...
I think it helps when they say, oh, yeah, Leia would have done the same thing. Which I do think Leia would have done the same thing. She demoted him. Leia's last action as the leader of the general
Right,
Leia
but it's
Organa
almost
was to
like
demote
Holdo
that
is just
guy.
looking down on him and not trying to help the situation.
Yeah, well, Holdo wasn't there when she didn't watch The Force Awakens.
Well, but at the, you know what I mean, though. It's just like...
Yeah, I get it.
That's not... As a leader, you're not supposed to look down
Yeah.
on the people below you, right?
Yeah.
You need to work with them and
Which
make them better.
doesn't necessarily mean that she was the best. I'm not saying that she's the greatest leader in Star Wars. She's definitely not. She makes a lot of mistakes, right? Which also goes to consequences. And she ends up giving her life for her mistakes.
Right.
Which is why I'm able to like get past the slow space race, because I think it is a great character story for Poe. Something that honestly I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
It's not even Han in the original trilogy. Like, it got an overall arc, right? The 3 movies of him, going back and not abandoning him for money, right? This gives a lot more personal story for Poe. And also, I kind of wish Rose was a little bit more angry at Poe.
What do you mean, angry? Like for this?
For like the whole bombing sequence, that was Poe's idea. Give more consequences. Maybe make her mad that that's the reason, or in this case, what they decided to do is she was a hero, which she was. She does feel like a Star Wars fan in a Star Wars movie, though.
Yeah.
You left the First Order when you did on the Starkiller base. When we heard about it, my sister Paige said Rose.
And here's what they were trying to do. Like you said, on paper, this movie works, right? Even with Finn's arc, on paper, if in the movie itself, how it plays out, it feels like he's repeating an arc. Technically, he's not repeating an arc. It just feels very similar because he wants to do is save Rey, right? He at this point he's not necessarily.
He's not trying to escape. He just wants to go find Rey.
Well, no, even at the end of The Force Awakens, he's not technically a part of the Resistance yet. He's still not a part of the Resistance. He's just tagging along to find Rey.
Right.
So this movie, by the end of the movie, he's officially, firmly a Resistance member. He's still kind of like in the middle. Which maybe, seeing all 3 movies back to back to back, maybe his full arc can be seen.
Right. I think what they're going to do with Rose, you know how I'm going to bring up Star Trek here, but in Star Trek,
Star Trek and a Star Wars commentary.
And you know how Simon Pegg, he's kind of like the engineer type. I think that's what they're going to make Rose. Because to be fair, she does come up with this whole idea.
Doesn't work. It's a good idea.
But if it would have worked,
great idea.
Great idea. She is essentially an engineer, right? And I think that's what you can make her role be, and still be prominent enough to where it's like, okay, you're not just trashing her, right?
I
You're
hope they
fitting a role, making a role for her, even though it's not a big role. It's still something that can help the story.
By having her like on the go, on the run with Poe on this weird random planet,
that won't happen.
That doesn't work. Yeah, for this movie. They do make a good team when it's introduced. You're like, okay, I see what they're doing here. The romance that they're trying to set up, though, is super forced. Does not work. Poe does kind of repeat a lot of the same beats. Like, oh yeah, I was a part of the First Order. I know how their stuff works.
See, this whole plan, though, that they come up with, solid.
Yeah. Also, there's one shot I remember, like, clearly in the director's commentary. There's a part where Rose is clearly standing on apple boxes because her head is, like, really close to the roof, but, she needed to be in frame. I always thought that was funny in the commentary.
Also, I love the interaction with Poe and Finn. Like, those two, they have really good chemistry. Like, they work really well.
I wish Poe
and it
was
starts
off
the bat.
I wish Poe was with them on that. Because if Poe was with them, it'd make it a lot more tolerable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing, like I said,
I'm excited to see Poe and Finn go on their own journey with Chewie.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. If they can do that in 9, that would be great.
That would be cool.
I think that will feel...
I think we just passed the shot where Rose is on apple boxes.
I think that will feel
I think it's Finn. I think it's Finn back there. Yeah, look how close this is to the roof.
If you have Finn, Poe, Chewie, 3PO, R2, and BB-8.
Throw Rose in
there. Yeah. If you have those six,
I have
the
a
3
question
droids,
for you.
and then those 3 in the Falcon doing their own mission, you know how much fun that's gonna be. And then put Rey in there, and then she just splits off. At some point.
Yeah.
Just like the originals, how they do with Luke. Yeah. If you do that with this group, it will work.
Also,
by the way, I am not watching this.
I want to mention this. I want to mention this really fast.
This is terrible.
Lupita Nyong'o, one of the best actresses working today. She's the actress in Us, and she's incredible in that movie. Little Monsters just came out on Hulu. Please watch that movie if you guys have not watched it. It is one of the. It's
this is so bad.
It's Shaun of the Dead meets The Pacifier. because it's these two characters trying to take care of kids during a zombie apocalypse, and it's the greatest thing, right? That's who Lupita Nyong'o plays this character. Complete waste of her.
Yeah.
Complete waste. It's a shame.
So dumb.
This feels like a
High-stakes table.
This feels like something from Rebels or Clone Wars.
And I would like to see a little bit more 3PO in this next one too.
Yeah, 3PO has a great moment at the end of the movie where Luke walks over and winks at him.
Yeah.
And 3PO seems so like, oh, he finally recognized me. Music.
Yeah, I agree with you. Poe should have went.
Yeah, Poe
But
should've went.
his arc would have.
It would have. Yeah, he would have had an arc if he did kill. I like the reveal that there actually is twin sons on this planet. It just doesn't show till the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I see what you did there. This is the first moment where their connection is, yeah. Also, like, weird, cool Star Wars tech.
Yep.
Very different locations. This is a great filmmaking technique. The shot, reverse shot, over the shoulder. These ones aren't over the shoulder. They're shot, reverse shot. But it's taking a classic filmmaking technique that's been around since the beginning of time, right? And you're doing it to connect these characters. Also, another great moment of silence. That is, like I said, Ryan
And I
Johnson
love her
is great.
reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna shoot you.
And in a way, there is some sort of connection there. Something I'm not sure if it's fear that he was like, oh, this sign just hit me, or if it's like maybe he actually felt something there.
Mhm.
Maybe the connection that Snoke is putting with them is so strong, and maybe they're probably putting a lot of power into this as well, like subconsciously.
Right.
So that connection is so strong. Love this, and she just turns around and just the way it's shot, it seems like they're in the same
And
spot.
he explains it right here.
Yep. No, not quite.
Not yet.
Yeah. Right here. No, wait.
The
This
effort
next
would
one.
kill you.
Yeah, the effort would kill you. Setting up, foreshadowing.
See, he explains it right
Exactly.
there.
Which, when we get to the end of Force projection, like I said, one of my favorite Force powers, that's exactly what it is. Just he doesn't notice that Luke is doing that. And like in
And
this,
to him, he hasn't seen Luke.
Yeah.
Right. So.
but the
he
thing
could
is,
still look like
with
that.
this, right? There's three parties at work. There's Snoke, there's Kylo Ren, and there's Rey, right? All three parties are having that ability work, right? Because they're the ones who holds that connection to be longer. Luke is doing all of it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He's using so much power. He's using the power that took three people to connect themselves here to hold himself to fool Kylo Ren in that one scene, right? I get why it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people are great. Very Star Wars to me.
See,
Those
all
cranky
that
Star Wars
comedic
fans.
relief
No.
right there
Works, yeah. That's why I think the large majority of this movie works. The large majority of this movie.
It's just there's glaring holes.
Mm-hmm. For you.
Well, Canto Bite is literally a black hole.
Yeah. You know what? Here's okay, I will defend that. Ready? Great bathroom break. Fantastic. If you're doing the
It's a
21
great time
hour
to fall asleep too.
21 hour marathon, perfect.
I fall asleep at the part every single time.
You're not allowed to this time. We're talking.
Well, I'm sitting up, so I don't think it's possible.
Mhm.
At least.
We need you to bring the Jedi back because
I always like this line because it looks like she's reading off a script and it just fits for whatever reason.
She, like, you can tell she's so naive right now.
Yeah.
Like, she just.
how the Jedi
It honestly kind of looks like she's reading off a teleprompter, but it works.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong. Lesson 1. Sit here.
But see, then the argument is, how can. What she just said, how was she able to fight Kylo at the end of episode 7 then? 'Cause she obviously knows nothing.
Yeah. I think it's just raw instinct.
But she has shown. Well, she knows how to use the staff.
Yeah, and she's
So
a
she's-
a skilled fighter too.
Exactly. So then that's the argument. But still, it's just
Also,
like.
I've mentioned this to you. They had a swordsman react to some of these Star Wars movies. The prequels, he said, is like super great choreography, super over the top, but it works in that way. Like it is being over the top. It's fun. This when Rey's fighting Kylo Ren at the end, one of the most realistic
At the end of 7, yeah.
sword fights in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Her like stabbing technique, like that's what you would do. I love this.
This works.
Did you think this works? I feel like some people think that doesn't work.
I love that.
That's so good. The porgs in the background. I love Luke in this movie.
That really does work.
Also, another thing, and no, I'll wait to the end when we get to that part. I keep on jumping to the end. I love this sequence. How he explains the Force, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Yoda's explanation in Empire Strikes Back, and you have this.
And I agree with
and
everything he says
Qui-Gon with midichlorians.
About the Jedi. And like the Jedi in the prequels, they abused their power 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it, they're the villains in the prequels.
Yeah, that's what Luke says.
Yeah. And it's 100% correct. So I want to see all that come back around and be wrapped up in 9. Because is it necessarily a good thing to build the Jedi Order back up?
Mm-hmm. At least in the same... Because, like, Jedi was trying to be leaders, right? Try to rule everything. They shouldn't be that. Like, they're the police force of the galaxy. Mm-hmm. That's really what they are. They shouldn't be leading the charge. They shouldn't be making the rules. Love this explanation.
This is the lesson. That Force does not belong to the Jedi.
And even though Luke has lost faith in the Force, right? He's still right here. He's not wrong.
Feel that.
There's something else.
This is also where Rian Johnson's unique style works really well.
Dark place.
Balance. Powerful light, powerful darkness.
It's cold. It's quiet.
I forgot about this scene. I love this scene.
See, this is a really interesting scene, though.
Mm-hmm. I love that shot.
That can go right into 9. She went right to it.
Yeah.
Which
She's
is
drawn to it.
very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It offers something unique.
I do like the idea of like a great Jedi balancing that. You know, obviously if you're too far on one side, right, the other side's going to rise with it. That's always been a thing in Star Wars. The balance of it. Maybe how things need to go forward is pure balance. So maybe that's like maybe you would be redeeming Kylo Ren in a way, but you're also corrupting Rey.
I've seen its raw strength.
That could work. Because I do think that, because at the end of this movie, obviously we see them team up. I want to see more of that, because it's fun to watch.
It is great.
But at the same time, they can team up, but then right after it's like, okay, wait, no, we're still against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, maybe there's a common goal that they have, but they want to use that goal in 2 different ways.
I'm trying to think of an example. There's one movie that it does that, where like there's this huge action sequence going on, and there's the 2 parties are trying to fight each other, but they get so distracted throughout, and they're fighting other things at the same time, and it's just it's so great. I think if Star Wars, if they were to do that in episode 9, it would be cool.
Yeah, I think it can work.
That's the first time I've noticed a wipe in this movie.
I noticed they did a clockwise.
They did one of those?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first time I noticed a wipe. That was the porgs are so
porgs
dumb.
are awesome.
And they're nesting in the Falcon.
I did not think I'd like the porgs, but they were a very good comedic relief.
Yeah.
Like they were just.
That's when like some people think like again I'm gonna mention Harloff. He doesn't think this movie's fun. I think this movie is fun.
There's fun moments.
It's more serious than other Star Wars movies.
I think this is definitely one of the most boring Star Wars movies, though. To me, I
think in my taste, there's a lot more. It's a lot deeper, especially with this type of stuff. I love it so much.
See, he's explaining it all throughout every time.
Yeah.
But see, I keep on noticing, even in episode 7, she has a lot of anger.
Yeah. Like I said, I would like to see Rey corrupted, and I have seen one image that I hate. I've not,
I
I've
wanted
seen
bad. I
image.
wanted evil. Like I want Dark Rey so bad. I think it would work so
after
well.
I saw it, I've never talked about it. I've seen it, and I always try to forget it. I've never talked about it.
But you haven't seen the video part of it.
I've not seen the video.
That's the part that you don't want.
I just saw the one image with Rey with a red lightsaber. I'm like, why did somebody have to tweet that image without saying Star Wars, without the hashtag Star Wars? So then it would have been blocked. But plus all the stupid YouTube thumbnails. But like, corrupt Rey a little bit, redeem Kylo Ren a little bit, meet in the middle.
See, that could very well be a dream sequence. It could very well be like
No more.
it just
Also, water coming
again,
back.
it's one of those things where it's misdirection. There's
Yeah.
a lot of misdirection, I think, in the trailers, and that I think that
You think that was a misdirect?
it could be.
All right.
Again, there's a million things they could do
Well,
with that.
you know what? They even say Kylo Ren has a vision, right? And he saw Rey turn bad. Don't they say that? Like when they're in the elevator, they're like, "Oh, I saw into your future, and you changed." And then Kylo Ren said, "No, I saw the opposite."
Well, that's a good point to you. What if there is a balance, right? Rey does become a little bit more corrupted, but he's always still drawn
This
to the
feels
light.
so much like a prequel planet. It looks a lot better than a prequel planet, but it feels so. Also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Robin himself.
I think what you said earlier, though, it's starting to make a lot more sense.
Uh-huh.
Because everything that we're seeing with them, you see that Kylo's always still been drawn to light.
And he's also
And he fights it, right?
He's more calm, too. Like, in this movie, when he's with Rey, he's a lot more calm and just...
And you see Rey, she has a lot of fire, she has a lot of anger in her,
Yeah.
and she's
It's
drawn
all
to the
built up.
dark.
Yeah.
So, what you said, if they do redeem Kylo, I'm okay with not necessarily totally redeeming him because he's still, they're still against, they still have opposite views.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have maybe by the end of it the same common goal.
You haven't been watching The Walking Dead, but that's kind of what they're doing with the Negan in a very strange way.
Well, it's like politics.
Yeah.
In general, like you got Republicans, you got Democrats, right? Essentially, you got dark side, light side, and instead of just fighting each other and trying to win, and just have it all light side or all dark side,
Yeah.
it's
There needs
just
to be a balance.
you got two sides. People can pick their own side.
That's what Star Wars
and
has
you
always been
live
about.
under
It's
that.
always been about stuff. And you know, when you start mentioning politics, we've definitely reached the bottom of the barrel. We are at Canto Bite, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. I will leave a time code down in the description of where you can skip past the Canto Bite sequence. Faudiers. My lord. This is where it starts feeling like Harry Potter. Those creatures feel so Harry Potter to me.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're too, they have fur. I don't
But
know why.
here's another thing. With our
Chewie has
point,
fur, though.
with our point, with your point actually of having by the end of 9, if they're both alive.
You're really digging into this.
Well, because I actually really like this because I think
Also, with this whole storyline is about how, you know, some people, like, everybody's like, there's always bad, like, the
that's
people
what
who
I was
sell the
bringing
weapons,
up.
yeah.
The people selling weapons and everything.
They
if-
sold the X-Wings
If you
and the TIE
don't want
Fighters.
to totally waste Episode 8,
Do
what
that.
JJ can do exactly is Episode 8. You're seeing all of this. It's literally written on the screen,
Yeah.
like setting up for Episode 9, where you have by the end of it, you have Rey and Kylo running two different sides,
Yeah.
and it's literally you bring back politics to Star Wars, which is a bit risky because we know how
Yeah.
the prequels went. But you're setting that up where by the end of it, the common goal for both of them
I love the music
will
in
be
this.
to take down Palpatine one way or another, right? Whether he's actually back or if he's just something, right? Like a force or something, you know, something, right? But the goal will probably be for them to maybe they're fighting at first, and then Kylo maybe flips on Palpatine, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, you're not good for the universe.
That's what I'm thinking, like, even
Like
if...
he still agrees with the dark side, almost like theory.
Yeah.
But Palpatine takes it to a whole nother, like the
Yeah.
Sith take it to a whole nother level,
Yeah.
right? And he doesn't like that. So what you can do is, they team up, and by the end of it, they take down Palpatine, blah 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 blah, and at the end of it, it seems like they redeem Kylo, but not really because he's still running his
Yeah.
side.
It's like...
He takes the First Order, and the First Order
Yeah.
possibly survives, right? And you still have that, and you have the Republic, and
It's like, just think about this, it's going to be like a...
it's more of a friendly.
Yeah, it's going to be like an old Western standoff, right? Rey's going to be like, oh, this galaxy ain't big enough for the two of us, but Kylo Ren's going to say, but what if it is? And they're going to be together, right?
Yeah.
You can't, like, you can do both. The galaxy's vast. They can have a middle ground where they can both coexist, which I think would be an awesome way to end off the
Also,
saga.
Ryan does a good job of showing that Rey already has these skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I do want to look up who the cinematographer is, because look at that shot. The cinematography in this movie. I need to give it a shout out. Let's see.
I love how she breaks this.
Yeah.
And it destroys the
cart. Ready?
See, again, this works. It works.
They just stand there. How did they do? Are those like costumes?
I don't know. That's great.
I really
though.
hope, because they don't look CGI. They look real. All right, so let's see. Last Jedi, cast and crew, cinematographer, Steve Yedlin. He did. Oh, he did Looper and Brick. Makes sense. He did San Andreas.
Oh, okay. This is where he's explaining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is where I also think legacy is a big thing. Luke doesn't think his legacy is worth creating something good out of, right? But it is. And that's why he does what he does at the end of the movie, to create a legacy that does
He
live.
totally throws Obi-Wan on the bus there, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. And Yoda, too, which is why he bonks him on the head.
Do you believe that he wasn't gone, that he could be turned?
Yeah, the idea of legends, even consequences in this, the consequences of the Jedi.
Now, I know you don't like the prophecy stuff, but back to what we were talking about with by the end.
By balance, like, you know, yeah. The
the
Force
prophecy
ended up being
was to
balanced.
balance for the Skywalker line, essentially, to balance
The galaxy. Yeah.
balance the galaxy, right?
Have balance in the Force.
So,
Which never made sense, because like, if balance in the Force to the Jedi meant no Sith and only good, this like
Right.
hyper
Right.
extreme side.
technically,
Balance?
technically, Anakin did balance it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. He killed all the Jedi.
Well, but then he balanced it out at first,
Uh.
and then he killed everyone. So then it wasn't balanced
Yeah.
again. But
Yeah.
you get my
Yeah. Here you go. First flashbacks ever in a Star Wars movie.
I think we'll get more too.
Do you think we'll get more?
Yeah. Because there's so much to explain. I think in a lot of stuff, I think you need it.
I also love this in terms of perspective, right? There's always two sides to a story.
Mhm.
This is a great example of that, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that they made it a lot more deep and complex than it could have been just, oh, he got angry and he killed a bunch of younglings
Yeah.
type thing, right? There's a different perspective. He thought his master had betrayed him. He felt lost. He didn't have any resort but to go to someone who felt like there was some stability with it, even though the dark side derives from instability.
And
right?
that's why he's still not fully towards the dark side.
Mhm.
Like, he still is pulled to the light.
Yeah.
Because he never really wanted to. Like, it wasn't necessarily his choice.
Yeah.
It was almost like he was forced into it from his perspective.
Mm-hmm. He was pushed there by his
On
by-
accident.
Yeah, by accident, because of a skewed, just perspectives just being off, not seeing eye to eye, and also Luke being an idiot and looking into his mind and seeing
Yeah.
the danger that he had, and abandoning him.
Right.
You haven't seen Joker, but that's exactly what Joker is with mental health. You don't ignore it. You don't try to kill him in his sleep.
Right.
Don't ignore that, Here we go. Slowest space race. We're back. I like how this poor guy just stayed behind. Yeah, in that ship. Unsung hero. I do think you can shave about 20, 25 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah.
Even some of this, not necessary. Cancel bite stuff, not necessary. I can see how they're trying to make the stakes feel higher here. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel reserves at 6 hours. Maintain our current course.
Is this where we go back to cancel bite? I believe this is the bathroom break part if it goes back to cancel bite here. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, where are you guys? Yeah.
See, at this point, I wish he would have went. Because
Also,
he's
you know
just
what? I do
sitting
like
there
those,
doing nothing.
those little TIE fighter things.
Mm.
Yeah, being like in the open. Those are cool. These like half stormtrooper people.
This is terrible.
Alright, here is the idea of good and evil is the essence of
You
DJ.
could have done all of this just by going straight to the Snoke ship.
No, because they needed to disable the one thing. They needed the code breaker.
You could have skipped that.
I mean, if that wasn't right into the script, yeah. There could have been another way.
You
to
could have
sneak
skipped
into
this
that.
whole dang planet.
Also, I do like the idea if that guy here, DJ, was the true master code breaker instead of Justin Thoreau, it could have worked. It would have worked better. But I like the idea that, you know, they tried it with Solo, this guy being somebody who plays no sides, right? And then it turns out, oh, he does play a side. And you go to Lando, a guy who plays no sides, and he's a little bit more so that way, but he plays on one side. This is a true gray aspect, no good, no evil. This guy follows where the money is. I like the idea. On paper, it works.
Yeah. It's just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's just...
They could have made it feel more necessary. But I do like his line when he does, when we get there, when he does abandon them. I like his little line.
And I like how he shows Finn, like,
Yeah.
there is no good, there's no bad.
Especially if episode 9 goes in that way.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah. Again, episode 9 can really help 8.
Yeah.
It could also destroy 8.
It could.
To where you could just watch a 7 and then go straight to 9.
Yeah. That's, like I said, my greatest fear. Don't ignore it. Because then you're alienating a decent portion of the fan base.
Yeah. This is good. I like this. Is
You
funny.
like this?
I just think this. You did that?
I don't like him shooting the coins out because that one alien was like sticking coins in him like a slot machine. It's
yeah.
like that feels very.
This reminds me of prequel R2.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They were taken out by coins and a shoe. Classic Stormtrooper. How did they get tied up?
I don't know. BB-8's.
That's not a deleted scene, is
BB-8's
it?
crazy.
This movie. You know, like, definitely bathroom break. I can go get water. There we go. Utilize some more wipes.
Oh god, Broom Kid.
Broom Kid. I like Broom Kid.
Finn is such a chicken.
We're both like, these things. On a
Yeah.
technical aspect, those things are pretty cool because those are all real. Those are all animatronics sticking their heads out. Technically, that's cool.
You know what's really funny is we're gonna get horses again in episode 9.
Yep.
Different types though.
There we go, Broom Kid, my favorite character. Alright, over under 10% Broom Kid returns.
0.
0, so you go under?
Under.
I go over. I think he could return. I want to see the Broom Kid. Imagine, like, even just for a second, right? You see some kids training as Jedi at the end of the movie, right? When everything's all peaceful, and he's part of that group. 10%.
Yeah, you have like 2 sides training.
Yeah.
You have Kylo on one side training his group, and you have Rey training.
Could you imagine? Or like even if you're cutting between 2 different locations, right? And they each have their own ideals and how they want to raise.
But see, if this is the end, here's the problem with that is it could feel like you could do 3 more movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to. I just want there to be like.
That's why I don't think Kylo Ren's gonna make it out.
Like a. Yeah.
Because like if you think about it this way,
an ending to where they can't go back to it. Like,
yeah.
I want it to be done.
Here's the thing, though.
With
okay?
no chance of it
Ready?
coming
If
back.
this is supposed to be the end of the Skywalker saga, right? Kylo Ren's technically the last Skywalker. Take him out. Oh, and Leia, of course. Take them out, right? You don't continue with them. If Rey is a nobody, if she's not a clone, if she's just purely just Rey, right? They can continue with her character without it being the Skywalker saga. And they can continue on the future of the Jedi. This does feel very prequel. But yeah, no, you can continue on. I hate that guy. You can continue on the story of Rey without it being a part of the Skywalker saga. Do that movie in like 10 years. I'm sure Daisy Ridley would want to go back. Because has she ever? She hasn't really done anything, right, outside of Star Wars.
I think she has a couple things coming up.
Let's see. Oh, she did Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did. That's really it. She's a waitress in this short film called Under. Yeah, Murder on the Orient Express. She was in this Ophelia movie that came out last year. She was a voice in Peter Rabbit. Oh boy. I do like this theme though. The music's good. But I mean, to have John Williams try to make a bad piece of music.
Has there ever been bad music in Star Wars?
Double Moons. Also, thank you, TV, for being loud. Demonetized. Woohoo. Even though I can't get monetized. Oh, straight up a cliff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Harry Potter. This feels so much like Harry Potter, like in Deathly Hallows, like where the Weasley's house is.
Yeah.
I love the music though. It's so good.
Where'd they go?
They're right there. Someone should do an edit where they actually fall off the cliff. They just go wee. Oh, that would be easy. I can do that. Should I try? Yeah, I can key them out and then make a mask. Should I try it? This is where Rian Johnson's message tries to go. Like, it... little too on the nose. Star Wars movies never really had a message like this. It just kind of goes into, you know, this movie's a little more deep than other Star Wars movies. You know, a lot of them are fairly simple. A lot of them are overly politically complicated and super boring. This one has a little bit too much of a, you know, message, an agenda that it's trying to push.
Right.
Product of 20... When did this movie come out? 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
You know, that didn't feel as long as I remember it being.
Well, that's because we talked the whole time.
Yeah.
If we just sat there and watched it, we probably would have fallen asleep. Well, I would have.
I did kind of like... I was looking past the TV at a couple moments. Those things are cool. I really like those things. And back to Rey. I like how they don't split it up too much. And now we're just back to the story, right? Infinity War has that problem for me where like you're in one storyline and you don't go back to it for so long and it doesn't get resolved until like the very end. Which is what Endgame does so well, is how they split everything up. Which, you know, Rise of Skywalker going to be the longest Star Wars movie.
This is the first time, right?
Yeah. First time he's touched the Force since he probably got there. And what does he do? He uses it to try to communicate with LEIA. Yeah, so he hasn't, like, felt the presence of his two best friends, Leia and Han, since everything. Silence. I never realized how many uses of silence this movie uses. It's so good.
Why did you hate your father?
Oh, the memes.
Do you have something that counts or something you could put on? Why did you hate your father? Give me an honest answer.
And this is where you get different perspectives.
Who loved you? He gave a damn about you.
And you go to Rey's story of never having anyone, you know, always being alone. Which I think it's, if they go back on, well, no, even if they go back on and make her somewhat special, she was still alone. She still got everything on her own by herself, you know.
They did. You can't stop me either. It's your break, sweetheart. Looking for them everywhere, and Han Solo.
I do think this movie does a great job with characters' arcs. Although it meanders a little bit.
Yes.
It senses my power. And he senses yours. And he feared it.
Make Luke look terrifying. So yeah, hey Mark, can you just look like a true evil Skywalker? Go full Anakin here.
One of the other big problems I have is just no lightsaber battles.
That was it right there.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't have that issue because I've told you this a million times.
I mean, I love the throne room scene.
Yeah.
So
when it comes to Star Wars, why I love Rogue One so much, I like the more sci-fi space battle stuff more so than the lightsabers, even though, like, don't get me wrong, I love the lightsaber battles, but it can become exhausting at a point. And like, think of Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones, the guy spinning around his sword and Han just takes out his gun and just shoots him. It's like, you know, sometimes it's easier.
Right.
Like, even look at A New Hope, my favorite Star Wars movie. There's one lightsaber fight. The rest of it is the awesome trench scene. in the Death Star, which also uses the Force, so it's still in there. Do you think this scene has become somewhat infamous?
What do you mean with
The snapping and all that? Do you think people who truly hate this movie, when it gets to this part, do you think they absolutely despise it?
I don't know. The thing is, what you gotta figure in episode 9, they gotta explain what it means.
Mm-hmm. I do think it explains what it means.
That she's
Well,
alone.
but she, what does this thing do? It's not like.
So you do think she's a clone?
Let's pay attention. Oh, that I didn't even think about that.
Because either she's a clone.
Gosh.
Because that's really one of the biggest reasons why people think she's a clone, because of this scene.
That makes so much sense. I hate this. No, I don't hate it.
And the dark ray that we've seen.
Can you stop saying the term dark ray? I hate that image. So
is
you're
a
saying
clone.
that could be a clone?
That's a theory.
Crap. I don't want to know that. It makes sense.
Another thing is, or that's Palpatine. And he uses her body.
That'd be weird.
What if they killed Rey, and he used her body? And Kylo, she means something to Kylo in one way or another, and that's why he flips.
You know, when I first watched it, this felt weird because there was voiceover. It's kind of like that Iron Man 3 type thing. Oh, why is Tony Stark voice? Oh, like the way he's talking to Hulk.
Yeah.
See, it showed her what she came to see. Where did she come from? And it shows herself.
They are. She does come from somewhere.
See,
specific
here's the thing.
That
Here's
we
the thing,
know.
though. If that is true, if she is a clone, how can you make the argument that they didn't know what they were doing?
I think JJ in the panel. Remember, he said that they. I don't know if he was lying or not, but basically he said that how they knew the end.
And it was just getting there?
It was just getting there.
Okay.
And so, you never know.
Because I feel like if that is true, if
it's
this
just
is a clear indication
they
of it,
didn't work together in getting to that point, but they knew where they were going.
Yeah. I do think because I've always...
this, right there, it's like, okay, you're a clone.
I've always doubted the fact that when people said, oh, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, it's very hard for me to believe that they have so many people at Lucasfilm to say, okay, we're going to make a Star Wars trilogy with new characters, right? And we don't know what we're doing.
Well, and JJ said that they were always going to bring Palpatine back. I don't know if that's true, but if they did know the ending of all of this, which I think that's the first thing you think of.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how are we going to end this thing?
That's like when I'm writing a script. There's one script I tried to write. I didn't know how I was going to end it. That got nowhere.
Yeah.
I have the script that I'm writing now. I know exactly how I want to end it.
Also, now he's in tune with the Force, so he can see Kylo.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he even feels that he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
running
he's...
onto it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some of the stuff that I love about this movie. Also, this is the first time where we see them in the same location. So still setting up that force projection
with
power.
Episode 9, they can do so many different things. They got so many options.
That's one thing that irritates me about the prequels, right? They set up the force running thing, like the speed run, the force speed run. What the heck is it called? They never have used that, ever. Even in the prequels. They used it once in The Phantom Menace. I don't even think they use it again. Because there's one scene where it looks really bad, CGI Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like going...
And also,
really bad.
One thing too, with the clones and stuff, Episode 2.
Episode 2 clones.
There is... We know that clones exist.
Yeah. It's something that's in the world.
And Palpatine did pretty much plan all that.
Did he, though? I'm still confused by that entire storyline because none of it makes sense. Yeah, there we go. Force projection is all set up. Also, this camera move is hilarious because in the director's commentary, he's like, oh yeah, we had a dolly in. That was all real. They pulled a building out from around them and they had Rey in there. That was all in camera, which is insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they had, and he was like, oh yeah.
And
And then Adam
Kylo
Driver had to just run.
Yeah.
This is a great little
This is awesome.
fight
I
sequence.
love this.
There you
Again,
go. You have Rey
angry,
using her
angry
staff.
Rey.
Yeah.
She has a lot of like...
She's able to hold a balance, though. She's able to hold
And that's the
herself
thing
back.
with in the originals with Luke. He
He
had
had
too.
the same thing.
He just knew how to control it.
Yeah. And it's one thing that they just don't
and
realize.
Kylo refuses to control it.
Yeah.
I think Kylo can control it.
Mhm.
He just refuses to.
Yeah, he tries so hard not to have that.
Yeah.
Not
This
to be
is
good.
awesome, though.
I like
I
how
love
Luke
how he
stops
stops,
himself because
yeah.
that shows that he still is in complete control here. It's not like that scene does not show that Luke is weak.
Mhm.
It shows that he has control and he knows exactly what to do to calm her down.
Right.
That's what he does, and he kind of fails at convincing her to not go, but he knows he was
See,
wrong.
at this point, once we get out of Canto Bight, this movie picks up.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this movie, the large majority of it is great.
It just has glaring holes. That's the
what
problem.
do you mean
with
though?
this
It has the candle bite scene.
Just the Canto Bight, the slow speed chase thing, or speed.
Mhm. But like,
the
what do you
slow
say that you
chase.
don't like this movie then? If that's it, and the little odd humor, if everything beforehand, like most of the
Well,
setup, right?
but the big also though the big thing is the feel of it.
yeah,
And
okay,
in a lot of parts, just in I would say 80% of the movie, the feel of it doesn't work.
I don't get that. That's one thing I can never get. Even with Iron Man 3, when the argument that I hate the most is that this feels like a Rian Johnson movie and not a Star Wars movie. I hate that.
I
argument.
agree with that.
It's so dumb because it makes no sense. Same thing with Iron Man. It feels like it's a good Shane Black movie. It's not a good MCU movie, even though that is the movie that makes Tony Stark who he is for the rest of the saga. That's what Iron Man 3 does. This shows, like, especially if they do what I think they're going to do in Episode 9, with Luke's legacy is the one that's rising, that's what the Rise of Skywalker means, then it completely works. It really does. That gives this movie so much importance. It shows what the state of the future
But
of
I
Star
don't
Wars is going to
think-
be because of this
Here's
movie.
the thing, though.
It's a middle
the
chapter.
goal
It's
of
all
nine.
set.
The goal of 9 is not to make 8
Mhm.
mean something.
Yeah.
The goal of 9 is to end everything.
Yeah.
And that's where
Mhm.
I think the Rise of Skywalker can mean multiple things.
Yeah.
It could mean what you just said.
Mhm.
It could mean Kylo.
Mhm.
And another one,
It can mean Rey.
well, it could mean Rey too. But
Mhm.
another one could mean Anakin.
Ha!
There's a way where they can pull some weird stuff off.
Yeah.
And we
I don't
gotta
get. I don't want them to get the. See, okay. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing, though. Remember, who are Force Ghosts right now?
Mhm.
Yoda,
Yeah. Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan.
right, and then
Luke.
Luke.
Yeah. They
And
could
they
bring.
could
Hayden Christensen
bring-
back,
they
'cause
could bring him
technically
back.
Canon is the special editions, right? God.
They
Also, okay,
could
you know,
bring him
let's-
back.
All right, let's get away from Anakin because that just gives me.
But see, here's the thing.
Oh crap! Ah.
Oh man.
Battery died. Battery died. We're still doing audio. We're good. Yeah, battery exhausted. I don't have a second battery unless you want to run up and get it. After the Yoda scene.
No, it's fine.
All right, we're going audio only, guys. Sorry
Just
about
put a
that.
dirt face.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
great.
put everybody's favorite character, Broom Kid.
Because I don't want to lose all that conversation. and
Yeah,
stuff
no,
either.
we've been having great conversation. But if you do want to go get your battery, that'd be great because we use the same battery. Also, this Yoda's great.
It's dead.
It's dead?
I used the plugged-in one.
Well, then I can plug this in. I don't have the cord.
It's not very long.
I can plug it into something. I have battery banks.
See, he can interact now.
he can
They're
interact.
and look, see how he has color?
Yeah.
And
They used to never have color.
In the original, right, they were just blue.
Which you could make the argument technology-wise, you couldn't do that. But
Sure, but
I
they
think-
could be
okay.
getting stronger.
Here's the thing, though. People, I get it. When Yoda is first seen, here he looks kind of funny.
Yeah, he does.
He does look kind of funny. It is still an actual puppet, right? It's not CGI.
Yeah.
When you get the contrast between his blue and the fire, it looks incredible.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
The lighting means
That
everything.
looks more like original.
Exactly. That's when you get to you have the prequel Yoda, right? In Episode 1, I don't know who that is. They use a puppet, but that does not. He looks older in Episode 1 for whatever reason, and then he goes to CGI Yoda and he does all his flips. This is Yoda. Sacred Jedi texts. Page turners.
Little
they
does
were
he
not.
know.
That was my best Yoda
Great
impression.
ticket.
Page turners. They were not. One of my favorite Yoda quotes in this movie is what he's about to say here about
Fear or failure.
Yeah, about failure. Again, consequences. What are the consequences of Luke's past failures? What is he able to do? Again, interaction. He just bonked him on the head.
I think that's setting something up. I don't know
And Luke
what.
is even like, I just felt that. Because even if you take it like the force projection thing,
But
it's
see,
not
here's
too out of the question with like the force ghost thing. You're
Right.
basically projecting
Right.
your image.
my concern is though. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how they were to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It could work, but what if
Yoda's theme.
they all come in to fight
I don't like that
because
idea.
they can interact?
Also, I want to go back to your Anakin thing. The simplest answer is always the easiest.
Mhm.
Having Anakin be there, I feel like
It makes sense though that he
It makes
is
sense
there.
that he
You can't
is
just
already a Force
ignore
ghost,
it.
right?
He is a Force ghost.
I
So
feel like
as
it'd
long
be
as
a
he's
little
just a
much.
Force ghost though,
mm-hmm.
and here's the thing: Kylo's obsessed with
Yeah,
him, right?
that is true.
So if you want to somehow redeem Kylo,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're gonna need him.
You know, that's one thing that never really made sense. How in the world is Anakin able to become a Force ghost when he was good for about 2.5 seconds? Don't you need to like train to be able to do that? That's where things get muddied and there's plot holes
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
But
And plus-
but canon,
Uh huh.
he's a Force ghost.
He is a Force ghost.
He is with them. So, and I think the stink on prequels is no longer as bad as it used to be.
Which is shocking. Those movies are really bad, or at least two of them. are.
Yeah, but I think the fact that this is ending and how you can tie it all together.
Mhm.
Here's the thing: they could use the clone stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They could bring back Anakin as a Force ghost, or bring back Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
They could reintroduce politics in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
so they can reintroduce all of this stuff because those were all pretty much good things in the prequels,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like the clone stuff was actually interesting. They just never did anything with
It
it.
never went anywhere. Like it was never
They could-
truly explained.
They
It's
could
still
wrap,
super
they could
confusing.
tie that off with
Yeah.
9, right? You can do certain things where you can. Again, JJ said that he wants to
Yeah.
tie in everything. That's how you can do it, and how this movie.
That's what gives me hope. I haven't
After
listened to any
watching-
interviews with J.J. Abrams, and if he says he really wants to tie stuff in, it has to mean this movie too.
Well, and
You
this
have
is
to embrace
if
it.
you really look into this movie, it can set up a lot of things.
It really could.
Like
Yeah.
we've come up with our own of how 9 could go
based
just
off
based
of
off
this.
watching this.
Exactly, which I think a lot of, I haven't looked at any theories, which I'm not sure if you can shed any light on it. Most of the theories ignore this movie.
I haven't really watched any theories either.
You haven't watched any theories?
No,
I'm curious
because
to know
that's
whether
what
or not
that's
they
what got me in trouble with 8.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been watching theories.
Okay.
The only one I did watch was the Portal one.
Okay.
Of the In Between Worlds.
Oh yeah, which I think that would take a lot to like way too much explaining.
Well, and they won't.
I was
yeah,
gonna
they
say
won't-
Anakin, like simplest answer is always the correct one, so maybe that's too complicated. I don't think that's complicated actually.
The
So I take
Anakin one's
back
not
that.
complicated because we already know he's
we
a
already
Force
know,
ghost.
yeah. But that whole thing, super complicated, which it also reminded me of what they did in Legion with the time travel, like going through doors and different portals that way.
I don't-
It's cool. But if you don't know what we're talking about, don't explain it really fast.
Basically, hold on. Let me look it up real quick. What it's called? 'Cause
I'll
I don't
talk
wanna
about
get
this.
the-
They are
I don't
down
wanna
to
get the
one ship
name
now,
wrong.
and Holdo is setting up. She's getting everybody together. They're getting the ships together. She's working on a plan. Although here's another thing with this. We have not seen Holdo in a minute. They're kind of falling into that Infinity War thing where we set up some storylines and it's just been ignored for a large chunk of the movie, and now we're finally getting back to it. So, like I said, it's not perfect. I can defend it in terms of Poe's arc here. It's great, and I do like Holdo as a character because, yeah, look at him. He's trying to like cause a rebellion within the Resistance. That's basically what he's trying to do. He's trying to overthrow her, and she's the leader.
Right.
It's very, very immature of him. Which, say what you will about this section of the movie, I think it really helps his arc out.
So, it's called A World Between Worlds. So
this
it
was set up in Rebels, correct?
Yes, it was set up in Rebels where at some point in Rebels, spoilers if you guys want to watch Rebels, but in Rebels, obviously with the Clone War TV show, they introduced Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. Do they go more into clones in the Clone Wars? Or is it just like
No
there's
idea.
clones?
No idea. They might.
Look, he's throwing chairs around. And look, she's like holding them back. He's trying to cause a
definitely
mutiny.
he's definitely immature.
Yeah, he's trying to start a mutiny.
So, A World Between Worlds was introduced in Rebels,
Mm-hmm.
where Ahsoka, who's in Rebels,
Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
and she leaves.
Yeah.
And she, interesting enough, she didn't know he became Darth Vader. So when she fights Darth Vader, she finds out, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Clone
So,
Wars and
You
Rebels
should just,
when they come out. On
you
Disney
should watch
Plus.
that clip because it's amazing when she
Yeah.
finds out it's Anakin.
Mhm.
But anyways, they fight, and basically, I think at some point Ahsoka dies, and I don't think Vader kills her. I think something collapses and I don't know. She's gone.
Yeah.
So they use a world between worlds, in order to bring her back. So basically, Ezra brings her back.
So I guess there was some sort of resurrection type thing through this. Because I was saying there's not been resurrections in Star Wars.
He finds himself in the so Ezra finds himself in the world between worlds, a mystical dimension of the Force that connects all of space and time. Here, the voices continue to echo around him, which he hears Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Ahsoka, Kanan around him. Flashbacks of past events and events yet to come. And basically, what he sees are these. It's like this black. Almost like he's.
I like how they're all waiting for her here.
Yeah, almost like he's in space.
Yeah.
With these white borders.
Yeah, kind of like Tron.
Right. Yes. And there's these like portals of different times.
If you guys have seen Legion, it looks very identical to how time travel works with that one character in Legion. I forgot her name. But it's basically a long hallway with different time periods, and you walk through that door to go to that time period.
Because see here,
exactly what this is.
He sees Palpatine.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go back and watch that episode.
Yeah.
Because I've never actually seen it. But basically, he brings Ahsoka.
Yeah.
He takes Ahsoka. Okay. So basically, what he sees in that, it's like this triangle.
Mm-hmm. And
in the triangle, he sees what's going on in that time.
Yeah.
So basically, he reaches in, grabs Ahsoka, and pulls her.
Yeah.
As she's fighting Vader. And then they go back
what if they pull
time.
a full endgame, right? So maybe Kylo Ren is trying to communicate with him. He projects himself. He's trying to use that power to get, and he's able to get into that world.
Him out.
He accidentally gets into that world. He doesn't know what it is, and that's how we as an audience, people who haven't seen the show, can be introduced to this ability, right? And he goes to Palpatine to seek help, and Palpatine attaches maybe even Kylo Ren doesn't agree with Palpatine,
finds it. What if Rey finds it and he uses Rey
to get to
and that's Dark Rey.
Yeah. And then you could even do a whole thing where he sees all these different things. He sees different outcomes. We see the visions that they've been seeing, that they've been talking about. Yeah. And maybe Palpatine can attach himself onto Kylo Ren
but
a spirit.
It said that those weren't just. It's not visions though. Yeah. It's time and.
Yeah, exactly.
It's different in time. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, even his different visions. Is it alternate universes type thing?
No. It's what's happened in the past.
Because if you were to pull Ahsoka out, what does that do to time? That's where things get really messy. If you're introducing a form of time travel, it gets very messy. That's way too much to explain in this movie, especially it being and here's another thing. Minutes.
In these episodic, whatever, in 7, 8. They have not pulled anything from Rebels or Clone Wars.
Which I have seen tweets about. I think the ghost ship from Rebels is in the trailer.
We did see it.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's actually
the ghost ship is also in Rogue One. So it could very well just be an Easter egg. Or it could very well show
there's multiple of those ships.
Exactly. Like the Hammerhead Corvette. It's the same thing that would be the opening shot of A New Hope, it being that type of ship.
Here's this scene that you're talking about where...
Exactly, where they start seeing the visions. I would like to see those visions. Maybe that's exactly Misdirect. That Dark Rey could be his vision. Right. See?
I would rather not be Dark Rey be a vision, though.
You'll be the one to turn. See? I think they're both right.
Yeah.
I do think... I honestly think that's the greatest thing I've ever come up with. I'm going to toot my own horn.
I think it's a solid
Not theory. To brag, but... if one is redeemed, the other needs to be corrupted.
Here's the thing. It's safe.
It is safe.
And I think they will be safe with Episode 9.
Yeah. We're getting close to this throne room scene. Do you want to go up and get the battery? Run right now. I'll go run and get the battery pack. We'll have 10 seconds of silence.
Nope, too late.
You suck.
I don't want to miss anything.
Sorry guys, no picture. You can't see us freak out over this.
Nah.
I didn't even think about battery. I really need one of those batteries.
Yeah.
Also, BB-8 rolling around in the trash can. Fantastic.
I think it's funny. It works.
Mm. Also, I really like his... So, the one thing that I think... what's the actor's name? Benicio Del Toro does great with this character. It's the quirkiness of him, which I actually really like, which is why I like this character. It shows they've always tried it with Lando and with Han. This is the first truly gray character, and his mannerisms
Which
like
could
that.
be a little hint,
Mhm.
like, hey, this
Exactly.
is where we're going towards.
Yeah. Which when he gets the door open, he's like standing still and he like points like that, which you can't see obviously because you won't get a battery. You could get it during this scene. Go get it.
Too late.
Run! They still need the whole mutiny with Leia coming back. There's a lot. Rey still needs to get like held frozen.
Yeah, but the cord is all stuck behind.
Have you seen
there.
like the thumb meme, or like if you do that, you look like a thumb? See, they can't see me look like a thumb. That's what Rey looks like in that scene. Go!
No, it's too late.
Run!
It's too late.
I will go get it. Where is it? See, I can't. I'm gonna break something.
Yeah, it's the wires are all messed up.
Go
and
get
messed up
it!
there.
See,
No.
look, the full mutiny is going on. You don't like this stuff. Go! Look, the first time they used the stun settings on the guns since A New Hope, I think, right? Did they ever use the stuns in any other movie?
I don't know.
Remember that was, that
3PO's
was
trying
one
to
of the
run.
hold on. That was one of the first things in A New Hope, right? They stunned Leia. They
Yeah.
never used it again. 3PO. I do agree. Like there is, they were kind of. Oh yeah, his turn. Ready? Yeah. See, look at his quirks. Such a weird character. They're so.
Why
close
didn't they just shoot it?
Because it blow up.
So?
They're standing right there.
So?
Have you ever, Brennan? Okay, here's the thing. If you're in the world of
They're
Star
rebels.
Wars, Brennan, if you're
Just do it.
If you're in the world of Star Wars and you see something that looks like that and you shoot it, like if you
But
look
at
back
this
no,
point,
if
you're
you-
screwed.
Hold on, Brennan. If you look back at all the movies, if you shoot something like that, it means the whole thing's gonna blow up.
Yes, but at this point, they're caught.
Yeah,
They're dead.
yeah,
Shoot it.
yeah. But still, like Anakin in his little yellow ship in Phantom Menace, and he shoots that one thing on accident because he's a little kid that accidentally saves the galaxy. My lord, sorry about that rant. If you blow up a thing that looks like that, it blows up the whole thing. And they weren't thinking. I don't think they had weapons, did they? If they had weapons, they would have fought back. They just had Rose's necklace.
Yeah.
Hey, Leia's alive. Yep, there he goes. Well deserved. And, I really hope Billie Lourd gets a bigger role. She really was my favorite.
Well, there
part of
wasn't a
this
lot
movie.
left, so
Yeah.
she probably is.
That one's the
She's like 1 of 10.
Yeah.
I like it.
See, I like this little conversation that they have.
Now, time to board the transport.
He just needed to earn it. Which I think a lot of people skim. Okay, here's what this movie does. See, you definitely had time to get your battery. They set Holdo up as a villain, right? And it's very hard to make the reveal that, oh, she was good the whole time and it working for all audiences. Very tricky. For me, it worked. For others, it didn't. I get it. Holdo had quite a bit of turn to make here in this one conversation. And I think with Carrie Fisher and with Laura Dern, I think they made it work. With lesser actresses, I don't think they could have done it. Great moment. Is that the only May the Force Be With You moment in this movie?
No, there's a couple. In the very beginning, I think there's one, and then, yeah. If you just pause it, and I'll run up, and then
You'll
you can
pause
just
it?
edit.
Oh boy. Alright.
You have to get out.
Here we go. Getting ready for one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars history. I'll just say it. Say it outright.
It's top 10 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like Snoke as a foil to Kylo Ren's character, and no more than that.
Mhm.
I think the theories got way out of hand. I think, you know what I decided I'm going to do? Before this new movie comes out, since I'm not looking at new theories, I'm going to look at all the old theories for this. Just because I never watched any of them, right?
Just be careful, though.
Yeah. No, I'll look at dates. I'll look at dates, make sure they're at least a year ago. Because I just want to see all the ridiculous theories that they came up with.
The biggest one was
With Snoke.
was Plagueis.
Yeah. Because I still don't know the theories, what people were trying to say about it. Which, like, maybe they still come true. Who knows? He looks so good, though. The visual effects, did this movie win for best visual effects?
I don't think so.
Also, just Andy Serkis, Planet of the Apes, Gollum from Lord of the Rings, Black Panther. He was a Claw. Good actor. He's also going to direct Venom too. You heard of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. He does seem really intense.
But why is he so obsessed with Skywalker, though? Like, why is he so obsessed with
Because he thinks he's the only one powerful enough to stop him. It's always been a thing where it's like, if there's a little bit of good still, you want to wipe it all out.
Mm-hmm. It's the classic Sith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? Oh, if it was a different angle, it should look like a thumb. I was wrong. There we go. And this is where it all becomes worth it. Right here. This conversation that they have is great. It's what turns Poe into a leader. Something that we will get in The Rise of Skywalker. We'll see Poe be the true leader of the Resistance.
Here's a question for you. In 7 and 8, they've only gone to new planets.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like them to go back to old planets? And if so, which ones?
Well, if you zoom into the corner of that poster, it somewhat looks like Dagobah. I hate it so much.
I don't think
I hope they go
Dagobah,
to... You don't think it's Dagobah?
based on trailers, no.
Okay. I think it, like...
I have a guess, but I can't
Not,
say.
like, yeah, don't say what your thoughts are, if there were anything in trailers, but... it would be cool for them to go to some places, but like I like seeing new planets, so I don't mind. If they don't go, like if they go fan service, I get it, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they go to Tatooine, I think they have to go to Tatooine. I think if they go anywhere, go to Tatooine. And then I did see one thing about this movie, or not about the movie, but it was said that the what is it? Because it's the not the rebellion. What the heck is the? Oh my gosh.
What movie?
What is the government called? What the heck is it called? Like on Coruscant. After Return of the Jedi, what was the government? The one that they blew up in Force Awakens.
Oh,
What was it called?
probably just the Republic.
The Republic. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I saw somewhere that the Republic is still around. It's not completely destroyed. So if they go to Coruscant, obviously Coruscant's still around. That's possible. Like you said, if you want to tie in prequels and the original
So
trilogy
you would like to
and
see
this
Coruscant?
one, you can go to, like, I know there's one desert planet because I use it in my thumbnail. That would be Jakku. Go back to Jakku, see a little bit more of Rey's origins. Go to Tatooine because like, it's Star Wars. You have to have Tatooine in there somewhere, right? Every trilogy has to do it. And then go to Coruscant. Tie in the prequels a little bit. Go to all three.
What about any other? Because like here's the thing, we've seen with the trailers, right?
Mhm.
You always gotta guess. Oh, what planet are they on,
Yeah.
right? And there are like some scenes where you're like, oh, that could be this planet, that could be this planet, but at the same time, when Episode 7 came out, you say you desert planet, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Tatooine, but all of a sudden it's Jakku. So there
Yeah.
could be multiple. We know there's multiple desert planets. We know there's multiple
Yeah.
blah 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 planets. So.
Consequences right here.
Mhm.
There needs to be some sort of dread happening to the Resistance at all times. Nothing good ever happens to them. Ever. Which is something that's truly heartbreaking about this movie.
Yeah.
It's rough. They go through. It's a rough spot in the trilogy. It's the second one in the line. But going off of that, like, if they are bringing back Palpatine, if it is through the portals, or if it is with my idea, I don't think I said it. Did I say my idea, my theory in this so far? But the Force projecting into the past. I'll just say it again if I haven't. Basically, my thoughts is, if they're bringing Palpatine back, this is also based on me not seeing any trailers, right, or reading any theories. If you can Force project yourself to find people, right? What does it, like, it doesn't mean that you can't, or you could be able to take that power, really master it, and have Kylo Ren search for Palpatine for advice. 'Cause he's the one running the First Order, right? Who did it successfully? Palpatine did. So Kylo Ren could Force project himself into the past to talk to Palpatine, right? Therefore, you would get a scene with the Death Star. So I think the Death Star, the original, or the third Death Star, could appear, and you'd have that. It's not necessarily a planet, but it would be a location that you go back to from the
The
past.
second Death Star, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome shot right there. Rey with Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Awesome. This is also the second time today we've seen this scene. It's so good. Great shot. Great cinematography.
You must die.
Also, again, Ryan Johnson subverting expectations here.
Son of darkness, heir
How else would this have gone down, honestly?
this conflict I now
I don't know. They fight, and Rey just escapes somehow.
Mm.
Here's another thing
It
that
feels too much
someone
like
someone
Empire.
mentioned, because obviously in the originals Luke loses his hand,
Mhm.
right, and then he cuts Vader's hands off.
Yeah.
Prequels obviously Anakin loses a hand.
All right.
We
let's
haven't
see.
seen anything.
Who loses their hand? My vote is on. My vote is on.
I mean, Anakin loses all his limbs in the third movie.
Okay, ready? C-3PO.
Well, he did have a red arm.
He did
in
have a red
episode
arm.
7.
Yeah. He seems. I was gonna say mention the red arm.
Yeah, but like
I can
that's,
see somebody
that's
losing
one
a hand.
that's one interesting thing is like we haven't seen anyone like lose a limb.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like a Star Wars staple with
Yeah.
lightsaber battles.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, we
Like
can't kill
Kylo
this
has
character.
his scar,
Yeah.
and Finn got his spine destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Lightsaber's turning. I love that little reflection, like the refraction
And
of
you
the
can
light.
see his hand turning
Yeah, the detail.
right here. Oh, that was before,
Yep.
but yeah.
And it still works. Like, that's exactly what he was thinking.
hmm
It all makes sense. Somebody who's been pushing him so hard.
And that's why Snoke is not Palpatine. Because
Yeah.
there is some theories that, oh, Palpatine was controlling Snoke. But Palpatine's smarter than that.
Yeah. The music. John Williams.
This is so... The slow-mo here.
Yeah. This entire choreography.
You think that they're
is
going to
great.
fight right there?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden...
Uh-huh. I remember seeing an image before The Last Jedi came out of Daisy Ridley practicing for the choreography, and it showed her like leaning on somebody, holding a staff, and then 3 people were fighting her, right? And we're like, that looks awesome. What is that?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Awesome. Oh, and here's the
Yep,
DJ
here's
line
that
I was
scene.
talking about. Yeah. He says one thing here that just stuck with me. Yeah. You guys yesterday, them today,
Yeah.
or somebody else tomorrow. Or no, you're wrong. That's the line. Because that was improv. He had a different line there, and Benicio Del Toro said, this is not working. And what if I just said that instead? And so, Benicio Del Toro did one good thing. It's
Right.
like, okay.
And here's another
it's not.
thing. So in episode 7, when they fight, obviously, Kylo was shot, right? And that's why it was a little bit more balanced. And this, you can tell Kylo's way farther ahead than
Yeah.
Rey is.
We've not really seen Kylo Ren fight full power yet.
Yeah, well, we see it here.
We see it
And
here.
he destroys.
Yeah.
He takes on way more.
Yeah,
She
Rey's going
struggles.
one at a time.
Yeah, and he's just destroying
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, it's taking 3 on right
That's
now.
why when we were talking about this earlier, I actually haven't mentioned on camera. We were talking about, well, where are the Knights of Ren? Because we haven't seen them
Yeah.
in 7 and 8, and I can tell you we haven't seen them in a trailer.
Mhm.
So like,
I'm
where?
shocked because they're on the popcorn tub that I saw at my theater,
So
and
like,
I saw that.
where are they? I think my theory is Kylo killed the Knights of Ren,
So it would be like a thing where
and it probably would look like that.
Snoke was like, okay,
And that's how he got his name.
yeah, that's how he got. Not only did he get the name, but that's how he was able to get into the ranks. That was like his
Right.
initiation type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can see that, but I feel like fans would be disappointed, and it'd be the Knights of Ren being Boba Fetted, pretty much. That was my argument
mean,
against that.
Yeah, but
Because I can picture Rey's little army fighting against their little army, and
But
maybe
again, we know how long it's been. It's
Yeah.
only been a year. Does
Only
she
been a
really
year.
have enough time to?
yeah, maybe. Or what they can even do. Here's my other thoughts on this was
Well, that's awesome.
if Kylo Ren was to be redeemed and Rey would be corrupted, right? And they were on the same playing level and they're working together,
Mhm.
that was awesome. His eye is just gone. It's gruesome. If that is the case, right? If they end up on the same playing level, what are they going to fight against, right? If you bring Palpatine back in a physical form, maybe it could be that. I don't want it to be that. If Kylo Ren in that year, he has been the leader of the First Order. First Order is not really... It is very hurt after this movie, right? But there's still a lot left of them, right? And you have Kylo Ren and Rey fighting against the entirety of the First Order, and their goal is to wipe them out in one fell swoop and start from scratch. That is their goal. Exactly what he says here. The Sith Jedi, all gone. Let's start over.
Right.
let's see what we're gonna do about this.
And again, it goes to our main theory that we keep on going back to.
Yeah. And also people thinking that this is the message Rian Johnson's trying to say, like, kill the past, right? Our villain is saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the message of the movie. The message of the movie...
See,
yeah. Exactly.
he's so good.
Mm-hmm. Adam Driver is incredible.
He's by far the best character in this new group.
Yeah. Exactly what Anakin should have been.
Yeah. Some people still like say, "Oh, he's a little too whiny," in 7, but hey, Anakin was like that.
Yeah.
Luke was like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the blood.
Yeah.
They're all a bit whiny.
What does Luke say in episode 4? It's like, oh, I gotta go to Tashi Station to get these power converters or whatever he says. And it's so funny. It's great.
Yeah, he's what Anakin should have been. Yeah.
Much like my
has
acting
the hair
teacher,
like Anakin.
My acting teacher told a great story about Adam Driver. He said that he was working on this play, right? And this was like 10, 15 years ago. And he was in a play with this guy. And he blew everyone out of the water. He was really good. He's a nice dude. He was awesome. Went to like got drinks with him a couple times. It was Adam Driver. And yeah, the awesome story of how he worked with him with a play this one time. And it's like the coolest thing ever. Like before he broke out into the role, and now he's in Star Wars. He's going to be in this movie called The Report and Marriage Story, both coming out, and I'm hearing Oscar buzz from for both of those.
But the one with Scarlett
Johansson, yeah, that movie. And also my acting teacher, his brother is in that movie. Huh. It's awesome. It's like, can we get invited to the premiere, please? Yeah.
And this scene.
This scene is just, this is like
one of the
takes
coolest
off.
theater. Like when I was in the theater watching this for the first time, it was incredible.
I think for this moment, we're gonna have to give a moment of silence for this part because it deserves it. It's just, again,
it looks good. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, you take a character that was kind of set up as a villain, right, with Holdo, and you find out that she's a hero. This is exactly what you do to make the audience believe that she was good the entire time, right? And that's what they're like I said, people still didn't buy into it, but for me it worked great. And even this worked really great too. The tension here, this is such a great tension building from Rian Johnson.
One complaint though, everyone was so mad he destroyed this lightsaber. But obviously it's all fine.
Yeah. Unless they're using CGI.
You just put a band around it and a band-aid, literally, it's a band-aid.
These guys look pretty cool. We're gonna kill you with this special fancy little weapon instead of just shooting you. Cliche.
Yeah.
Phasma. Also, I do like Phasma more than Boba Fett. Y'all can fight me in the comments. Boba Fett does a whole.
I mean, to be fair,
Phasma
Phasma does do a little bit more than.
Yeah.
Not much more, but a little bit more.
No, a lot more. Are you kidding me? But what does Boba Fett do? He accidentally dies and he takes Han Solo's carbonate body over. He doesn't even get him to be carbonite.
Well,
that's Darth Vader.
Jango Fett does more than any of them.
Jango Fett's cool.
See, this
He's so
looks
intense.
Cool.
It looks awesome. Like force power just fighting. Also the music. Here we go. Such a great moment.
And he really wants that lightsaber.
Yeah, he's like, it's mine. Really feels like the end of something here.
Yeah, all three things just.
Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sound was awesome.
Incredible. And it really, when you look at Holdo in that light, right, it means something.
Yeah.
It really does. Especially through Poe's. If you look
and
at
this
Poe's
feels like
expression
this
there.
could be the end right here.
Yeah.
Everyone escapes and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally could. You know, one thing that I'm bummed about with this movie, we did not get enough of the Falcon.
Yeah, yeah. But we got so much of
The
it in
Falcon-
Force Awakens, I'm okay with it.
True, but the Falcon is literally a character.
Yeah, the Falcon is a character for sure.
Oh my god, those. We better get an epic battle with the Falcon.
Falcon does have some great moments in this finale, though. Like, you think this is the end of the
when
movie?
the Falcon comes in, it is like I just want to see him go.
And like when Finn says, "Oh, they hate that shit," it's so true. And you know what? I don't hate this. I don't.
I mean, no, I don't hate it either. I wish it was Rey though.
You wish it was Rey?
I think that would have been cool.
No,
because
I don't think
you know
Rey...
how happy Finn would have been to see Rey like that. That would have been awesome.
I think it loses the impact of them seeing each other at the end, though. And plus, Rey is preoccupied at the moment.
Yeah.
See, this is where I think Phasma's awesome, right?
Mhm.
This, also the deleted scene...
The fight between Phasma and Finn is actually pretty good.
The deleted scene of this, though, is 10 times better. It's
Really?
like 2 minutes longer. It's awesome. Phasma has some great moments. Maybe we will watch it after this. I love the deleted scene. Also, it's an alternate death, too. I think it's a completely different sequence. It's really good.
Yeah, the
though.
death isn't great, but
Uh-huh.
this is all fantastic.
I like seeing her eye. Like, you never see her without the mask, right? Like, I have watched Game of Thrones since. She's awesome in Game of Thrones. I didn't think I'd like her character that much. She's incredible, right? Definitely a waste of
Finn
time
got
on
a little
Christie.
lucky there.
Yeah.
That gun is
See,
cool,
when
too.
she turns and shoots like that, that is awesome. Like, and that's a satisfying moment.
Yeah.
Just wish there was more. You just gotta wish.
Yeah, I wish their fight was longer.
Yeah. See, and seeing, like, you have a character that's always been masked, right? Just seeing the eyes enough. You don't need to unmask her. I like that line. And there we go. Death of Phasma, aka Boba Fetted. You always have to have some version of that in a Star Wars something. What's the Boba Fett?
And of course, there's a ship that hasn't been touched.
Yeah, I really like this theme though. I listen to it pretty often.
That's a
It's
good
fun.
theme.
It's a fun theme. Reminds me of the Solo theme. I like the look at all
How
the
did they
sparkles
know
in
to
the
go?
sky.
They must see the ships like, okay, that's where they're going. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I was like,
I like how the hand. Oh
Huck's-
no, the hand doesn't. I
Yeah,
thought
the
the
hand
hand. The
is
hand
just-
just sits there. It's great.
look at Huck.
Hux is so upset.
And he was about to kill him or shoot him.
Yeah, I like that character choice right
Yeah.
there. See, I wish they did more of that stuff with Hux
Yeah.
instead of him being a joke.
Yeah.
And Domhnall Gleeson is a great actor. I'm not sure if you've seen him in other stuff. He's
How
great.
could Rey kill Snoke, knock Kylo out, and kill all those guys? Hux is
Yeah.
kind of an idiot.
Mhm. I think Hux. I really hope Hux tries to like overthrow Kylo Ren in a scene, like more of that type of stuff. Like, and maybe Kylo Ren takes him
This
out.
is great though. Who do you
Yeah.
think you are?
Yeah. I like his line here when he says like, "I'm the Supreme." What does he say?
And the music too.
Yeah. All hail the Supreme. Oh, long live the Supreme Leader. So good. That's where I think Kylo Ren was solidified as a villain.
And when Snoke says earlier, you know, about putting fear into them,
Yeah.
he does it right there.
Also, one of my favorite planets in Star Wars. I love this planet because it seems like
That
a nice,
shot
peaceful.
for Leia too is great.
Even,
That
like-
shot right there.
Yeah, cinematography on point. But just like the idea of a planet that's just like this crystal white, right? And underneath, and it looks like snow, but it's sand.
Right.
Or no, it's salt.
And then Finn and Rose barely getting.
Yeah. But no, it's the idea that underneath all of that is just this blood red rock and stone, and it's just so.
See, in the trailers when this movie was coming out, we all thought this planet, because apparently there's a planet in canon,
Mhm.
and we thought it was a Sith planet or something with the
Oh.
red stone.
No, it was just a really cool looking planet. I wonder if. I like this, yeah. It reminds me of Deadpool when he sticks his hand and was like, "Ah, don't shoot." Hey, look at that.
He's
Where's
so
my
happy
droid?
when he sees BB-8 too. Where's my droid?
Where's my droid? Stop splitting up characters in movies, guys. Unless it's like how they did it in Endgame, you get cool, fun pairings. This one doesn't have as much cool, fun pairings.
No. This really doesn't have any. You got Finn and Rose, and then
No, there's one great pairing. Let's see if you can guess it. An unexpected pairing that I don't think anybody would have ever guessed.
Rey and Chewie.
No,
Use my personal code.
you got half of it.
If there are any allies to resist,
Rey and Kylo.
Chewie and the Porgs.
Chewie and the Porgs.
No, I was gonna say Rey and Kylo.
Rey and Kylo.
But then you said Chewie. I was like, yeah, Chewie and the Porgs. There's one.
See how Rose is now in the.
Mhm.
I think she's gonna be more like that.
Technical side, yeah.
Yeah, technical.
Like even in The Force Awakens, the guy who plays
she won't
Miles,
go on missions.
Yeah,
or
the guy who
anything
plays
like that.
Miles in Lost, who's in The Force Awakens, the Asian dude. That type of role,
Mm.
perfect. Because like
Yeah.
he has a few good lines. You know, he's not as prominent, but like, where's that guy? I wonder if he's gonna come back. I doubt it, because that's the last of the Resistance. New Death Star tech. Or old Death Star tech. Of course. Fox crystals are kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they're force use. They can access the force, right?
So
I think that's how they found their way out.
Yeah.
They're in touch with the force. I think...
We have allies.
What did he say? I missed what he said.
Leia.
You see, this is where it starts being like the...
They'll come, but we have to buy time.
This is where it really starts getting to the message of why Luke does what he does. Leia is not enough. They need the legend of Luke Skywalker to get more people to join the Resistance, because nobody comes and helps, which is very real.
Well, to be fair, Leia has already failed once.
Yeah, exactly. They had one big one with the Death Star, and since this is immediately after, it's like, who's left? They wiped them out. From what everybody else has heard, they're screwed.
Right.
Yeah. This is my favorite part.
And to be fair, this is right after the Death Star, so that the word
Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One.
The word out on the Death Star or the Star Killer base being destroyed wasn't much. I mean, that just happened.
That literally just happened. So the word hasn't really gone out. I didn't even think about that. The last they've heard was that the Star Killer base just blew up 5 planets.
Yeah.
That's the last they've heard.
And there's probably panic all over.
And then all of a sudden they hear, oh, Luke Skywalker stood up against the entirety of the First
Yeah,
Order.
they probably think Luke destroyed Star Killer base.
Yeah. When Broom Kid is telling that story about Luke Skywalker, that's the message of the movie.
Yeah.
That's why I like... Oh, that's fine.
I do like that. This is the point where they're at. They're just screwed.
Yeah. I love, like, this even reminds me of pod racing in a way.
Yeah.
In, like, a good way. And this is such a fun sequence. They bring back the Resistance score. Music is so good.
Where's Wedge?
See, come on, Harloff, saying this movie isn't fun. Are you kidding me? This sequence is fun.
We need to put out a...
that moment hit me a little bit right there.
A thing? We need Wedge back.
Wedge? Oh, Wedge Antilles, yeah. Wedge is still around, huh? Wasn't he on the panel for episode 9? When they did Star Wars Celebration?
Was he? No,
I thought he
think
was.
so.
I thought I heard
Lando
Wedge
was.
Oh, I thought I heard Wedge was coming back. Like, before the trailers. Or maybe it was just rumored.
No.
The resistance is in that line. Push through.
No, it was Lando. Because Lando was on the panel.
Yeah, Lando was. Billie D. Williams. I love the red. It's so good. And the poster for this movie was great. The official one, even though I have the teaser poster, which we have right up there. Look at that. It's so good. And even, this is another big character arc for Poe, where he tells them all to turn back, because he sees they're losing. They're not going to win this.
And Finn at the same time, even though we've seen this character arc with Finn in episode 7, but we get to see it again.
Yeah. We get to see him
officially
be like,
joining.
I'm a part of the Resistance. That's what his little speech that he just had a little bit earlier. That was him embracing it.
Right.
He's finally part of the Resistance. He's done running.
Although it would have
There
really
we go.
completed if he actually did.
That
Yeah,
shadow.
see when the Falcon comes in.
Yeah, the music and everything. Chewie! Ford! Yeah. Unlikely pairing. Ray at the gunner seat. This is the point in the theater where I was just smiling.
Yeah, this is just
entire
a lot of fun,
sequence is
yeah.
so much like... Will that piece of junk out of the sky? When Adam Driver just goes for it, it's great. This is where, like, even though the location's very unique and different and it feels different from Star Wars, I can see that.
I hate that shit.
It's still like listen to the score, all of this stuff.
Oh, this is all.
Yeah.
Man, Chewie is heck of a pilot.
That shot
See,
was
that's
always-
awesome.
Yeah. Oh.
He's probably like, we just fixed this.
There's very small moments of Rey and Chewie like interacting with each other.
Yeah.
And when they do, it's great.
Yeah. That's what I want. I want the 4 together.
Yeah. Pork's always gonna laugh at me. They're great.
That's awesome. Oh, I love the Falcon scenes.
It's such like the ship feels like something that would never work. It's like, oh, this thing is probably the worst thing to ever take in situations like this. But with Chewie or Han at the, or even Lando in the pilot seat, it's unstoppable.
Can you imagine Poe flying that thing?
All right, here's the thing. Odds on the Falcon being destroyed in Episode 9.
It better not.
Better not?
I'm gonna be... No.
Alright, so I'll give that one like a 25%.
Falcon cannot be destroyed.
Odds
R2 better not go. BB-8, like Internet
Yeah.
Droids 3PO, none of them. What else?
I think if a character dies, it's the Falcon. Maybe with Lando. Or either Lando flies off with the Falcon or Lando goes out with the Falcon.
I could see Lando flying off with the Falcon.
Yeah,
with
I was going to say
Chewie.
that's most likely with Chewie. Because that would be a happy ending. That would be like, even if that's a final shot of the entire series, I would like that.
Yeah.
So then it makes Solo fit even better. Because like I said, I've said this to you several times. If you watch all these Star Wars movies, starting with Episode 1, 2, and 3, then you hit Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? You watch all of them in that order. Solo fits very well because it's an introduction to how the Empire is really affecting the galaxy in these smaller corners of the galaxy. Plus, you get to see Lando in the Falcon, something that you haven't seen before.
I wish they kind of would have. Maybe you don't really need Han in that movie at all.
Yeah.
Realistically, like you could have done, you know what I mean? And
just had a fun space adventure.
Yeah, with Lando.
This part, I was like we said earlier, if Finn died here, it would have so much more impact because I think they're setting up for it. It would really work.
I think in 9, with Finn, I think it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you need to give a reason why Finn survived here, and if
right.
they give a good enough reason, perfect.
Right.
For all is forgiven.
I think they'll give us a good. I hope.
Yeah. I do like what Rose says when he saves him. It's like, "Oh, I saved you, dummy." It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That shot, for some reason, looks like an anime shot. Yeah. I remember seeing an interview with Oscar Isaac, and he's like, "Oh, I was running, I had to slide into this trench, and it was really cool, and this thing was crashing behind me." That was that. Oh, this movie is so beautiful. Look at it. This part is a little bit. It's not earned. It's really
rough.
not earned at all. Yeah.
Very rough.
Very awkward. I do like that one.
And then she just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right, that wasn't.
That's me from the movie. Like see you later,
she
guys.
seems very aware of everything going on right now.
Maybe like the shockwave hit her and knocked her out. But let's see. Or does she just lean over?
No, she just literally leans over.
No, she's out.
Like,
yeah, she's done. She's like,
even
you guys
Finn's
don't.
face is like,
He's like, what just
the hell
happened?
just happened?
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help his reaction to all of that. When Luke walks out and he's like, just fire at him, he's like, keep firing.
Yeah.
Look at 3PO back there.
You think you got him?
That moment feels very
Maybe all
real
those
to
people
me.
are like, oh, we already know. We see Starkiller Base is destroyed. Because it literally just happened.
Mm-hmm. This movie honestly sets itself a lot to be the end of the saga in a lot of ways because it does feel a lot like a little bit of Empire, but a lot of Return of the Jedi. It does feel like it could have been the end of the saga. I love the music in this scene.
Yep.
This is something that I always wrestled with. Leia knows that's not him, right?
I don't know. I mean, she hasn't seen him in how many years?
Mm-hmm. I think it's when...
It is hard to know because she's not as in tune with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, she can't see his surroundings.
I think when
she can
he
only
reaches
see
over...
him.
I think when he reaches over to her and like grabs her hand, she has a look or something like that, and I think that's a good line. It is kind of sad, though. I can see, in retrospect, that this is our only scene with Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
And we had no scenes with Han and Luke.
Yeah.
Those arguments, it's hard to argue against that, you know.
That is, like, one of those just... The story just didn't...
warrant it, yeah. Although Han dying, I think, was the best option for that character.
Yes. Well, and he wanted to die.
Yeah.
But, like,
Harrison Ford has been wanting
Ford
one of
was
his
done.
characters to die
Yeah.
for a while.
he wants all of his characters to die.
Yeah.
He wants Indiana Jones to die. He wants everyone to die.
Yeah. No one's ever really gone.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Heartbreaking. Ah, Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace. See, right here. She gives a look right there. That makes me think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, seeing that look?
Yeah. Yeah, she knows.
Mm-hmm. And then the
And
dice.
then dice.
That does mean a lot more after seeing Solo. Even though you don't see Leia with that dice and Han. Because it was more of a Kira.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Han
that's a bit
thing.
awkward.
It is a bit awkward, but it's still something from Han. His good luck charm. Yeah,
This
I love
is
it.
great.
I love the music in this scene.
Master Luke.
He looks so he's so happy. You can just tell. He has just such a blank face. He's a
Yeah, and then
robot.
you see just everyone is like...
This is where the legend of Luke Skywalker, even they know in this moment, they're like, we're watching this guy walk out there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god. It's the legends are true. All of it. Ugh. Cinematography.
That's
How
an
do you
awesome shot.
step out and look at that? Because you're not really there.
He's like, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
He has the lightsaber
Yeah.
that just got destroyed.
Uh-huh. It's so obvious.
Why didn't they use his lightsaber, though?
The green one?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
come on.
That could have been a cool fan service moment. Like, oh, it's green.
Every gun we have.
I like
Although
how
it
calm
is
he
funny, no one noticed it.
there. Yeah.
Like,
No one's
we
like-
notice it now, but
Yeah.
the first time we watched it,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was actually there.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of forget because it's like, oh my god, it's Luke.
Yeah.
Like, his hair.
And you're like,
Yeah, at this point I was like, okay, Luke's not that strong.
yeah. I don't know why that reminded me of the meme with the fists. Yeah, see, Leia knows what's going on here. Everybody else is like, are we gonna run?
If she really knows, though, why isn't she trying to get everyone to get a way out?
Yeah, I think they still want to. I think Leia wants them to see, because like them seeing Luke walk out of there. That's when Poe says he's this is a distraction. We need to get out of here. She wanted the Resistance to get just even the smallest bit of hope after being shot down throughout this entire movie, and she wanted Poe to rise up. You're just seeing that one image right there.
The brush off the shoulder, I don't
like it.
love.
I like it.
I mean, it's funny.
I think it's just such a jab at Kylo Ren, and you can see his reaction after. He's like, "Oh, this guy."
A smile would have been fine,
Yeah, no, I like it.
or like a wink.
Mhm. That always feels something like
That is just too much. Like, oh, it's 2017.
it feels like an older Luke thing to do with him throwing the lightsaber like that. I think when you look at that version of the character, with him drinking the milk like that,
I love
yeah,
that.
with him drinking the milk like that, it fits this
Right
version
away,
of
sir.
him. Yeah. 'Cause even then, I'm glad that that version of Luke is not exactly the same. Because if he was exactly the same,
Yeah.
what was all the time that we spent away from this guy and nothing happened? a
But
lot
still,
happened.
like, I think a wink would have
Yeah.
been fine.
Well, he
or a
already
smile.
winked at, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe a little
nice
too
try
far.
type
Yeah.
of thing. Or
Also,
even like
this thing
come
right there,
here type of
See
thing.
what he's holding?
Let's face it.
Super 8 camera. If this were J.J. Abrams, then that really means something. But yeah, that's a Super 8 camera right there with a little bit of a different lens on it to make it look fancier. And like even when people say like, I wish we got to see like Luke actually fight, this still for me it has the same impact. Him standing up against all of that, him walking out there, that's Luke Skywalker.
It still
being a
would have been
badass,
awesome
yeah.
to get an actual fight.
But then you think back at Yoda in his conversation, it's like, oh, it's not this crude matter, and he points at his muscles. It's in your mind. That's your greatest power. The Force is your greatest power.
Like, how do you not notice?
Uh,
Like, I'm sure there's some people that did notice.
yeah.
And they're all gonna be in the comments. I noticed.
Mm.
But
See, yeah. This is where everything becomes worth it.
Escape. He's one man against an army. We have to help him. We have to fight. No. We are the spark that light the fire that burned the first.
I love that line. And that shows that Finn right now is where Poe is at the beginning of the movie.
There's gotta be a way out of this mine. Hell, how did he get in here? Yes, sir. It is
Well,
everything exists, but this vicinity is such a maze of endless tunnels that the odds of finding an exit are
Poor C-3PO. Nobody will ever get it.
no
he's
one
like,
ever listens to him.
Luke gave him the wink though, so he got that. Still gone. Where did those foxes go?
Where'd the crystal critters go?
There they are. I think they're in tune with the Force. Those little
Yeah, I
guys.
think that was said.
Yeah.
What are you looking at me for? Follow him.
I think it's a great passing of the torch.
Mm-hmm.
That smile says it all. Hey, look, R2's doing something.
The beacon's right there. It's got to be somewhere. Scanning for life forms.
Still mad at JJ for that, for episode 7.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll make it up for you. Can you imagine if Colin Trevorrow was still doing episode 9?
Yeah, I'd be
The
nervous.
state that would be at, especially after... oh, no, he didn't do Fallen Kingdom. He just did Jurassic World. He is coming back for Jurassic World 3, though. Because he directed the short film. The Jurassic World
Right.
short film.
I'm excited for that, but I'd still be, because I know what JJ can do, because
Yeah.
we've seen it.
It's kind of bizarre how this and Jurassic Park have been mirroring. Because they came out the same year as 2015 for Jurassic World. It's so bizarre. Like, it's going to be a year off now. Because the third Jurassic World movie is going to be a little bit delayed. But it still somewhat mirrors, which is interesting. Lifting rocks. Here we go. The face-off we've all been
They're
waiting
literally
for.
showing, like, he's not
Yeah.
there. Like, see, he moves his feet.
Mhm. And then you don't notice the first time you watch, but they
Yeah.
have zero contact. So they never break their own rules that they set up so perfectly. Yep, there it is. Right in front of our faces.
But when you're watching it for the first time, you had no idea.
Mhm, yeah. You're still anticipating some epic lightsaber fight.
Right.
And that move.
I failed you, Ben. I'm sorry. I'm sure you are.
I love that line.
Resistance is dead.
And it finally shows a more wise version of Luke. Something that we haven't seen all movie.
I will have killed the last Jedi.
Oh, roll credits. You don't watch CinemaSins, do you? When they say the title of the movie, they say roll credits. It's a ding.
The rebellion is reborn today.
I love this moment.
The war is just beginning. And I will not be the last Jedi.
Roll credits. Oh, look who it is. There were a lot of theories, weren't there? Like, who is the Last Jedi? Here's my article that I'm gonna put on.
It was pretty obvious.
New York
that was
Times.
never like a
Yeah,
thing for me, but for some, it was just used clickbait.
yeah. All articles are like, oh, Huffington Post's
Yeah.
who is the Last Jedi. See, and then this moment has impact.
Yeah.
Finally, after all this time. Because they were together the entirety of the first
Right.
movie.
I'll destroy her. And you. And all of it. No.
Standing up like old Ben Kenobi before him.
And I'll always be with you. Just like your father.
The music during this scene always struck me. Still a lot to learn. See, that even works in canon. He's basically a Force Ghost right now.
He's projecting himself as a Force Ghost. Yep.
That's exactly what he's doing. Such a cool Force power.
I love this. I
Yeah.
love that line.
I'm telling you, if no matter what, however they bring Palpatine back, Kylo Ren's got an angel and a devil on his shoulder. In the form of Luke, Skywalker, and the Emperor. What if that was just the end of him? That's how he died.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I do like how
Did
peaceful.
he like fall off or something? Because now he's like trying to get back.
I think he like rolled off and is now like he's done. I like how he goes.
I don't mind. Yeah,
Peaceful,
again,
yeah.
I don't mind how he treated Luke. A lot of people have a problem with it. I understand. I understand the problems with it. They wanted to see badass Luke and they didn't get it.
I just think you should reference.
But it
Empire
didn't fit the
Strikes Back.
story.
Yeah, reference Empire Strikes Back, and how Yoda, what the conversation that they have with Yoda, or that he has with Yoda. I do think this moment's very impactful. Not just because we're losing a great character, but because it's such a beautiful
wish though
moment.
that we
The
could
twin
have
sons
had
and
him for 9 though. Like I know we're gonna have him for as a Force Ghost, but
Yeah.
I do wish that we could have had him for episode 9 as well.
Yeah.
Especially with
Twin sons.
Carrie Fisher gone, but obviously they didn't know that at the
Yeah.
time, so it's hard to.
Because it really was Han's movie, then Luke's movie, then
And then it was supposed to be
Leia's movie.
Yeah.
This movie really does feel like the end of a lot of things, which is smart. You know, if you're trying to end everything in one movie, it's tough. They wrapped up Snoke, they wrapped up Luke, for the most part.
Yep. Han
And
was wrapped up in 7.
Han was wrapped up, yeah. They're doing it progressively, which I think is smart. It's very hard to wrap everything up in one nice, tight little bow. Like, Endgame did it probably the best anybody ever could, but the whole thing's continuing on, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't
And
have
they-
to wrap everything up.
But they also killed off 90% of their characters.
Yeah. And there we go. One last indication that this power that Snoke, the connection that he made, is not gone.
Right.
Setting up that, yeah, they're still going to have this in Episode 9. It's not going anywhere. And I'm glad it isn't. This could either be a very great indication that Kylo Ren is a true villain of the saga, or of this trilogy, or maybe this connection will mean something greater. Could go either way.
There's the hug.
Yeah.
Oh, she fixes the antenna.
That's BB-8's arc from the
And
movie.
this is the first time they meet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love this cast. This new cast is great. I really do
There's
like all these
Lux.
characters, yeah.
Didn't notice it the first time. but-
No, me neither. I didn't notice it the second time.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite new character. I also love this moment between Leia and Rey.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever truly gone.
Luke is gone. I felt it. But it wasn't sadness or pain, it was peace and purpose.
Exactly, cranky Star Wars fans. Thank you.
We built the rebellion from this. We have everything we need.
And zoom out. And credits!
Unfortunately not.
I actually do like this. After thinking about it more. It's the legend of Luke Skywalker. This could have opened up. No, it wouldn't have opened up. I don't know, where else would you put this? That's the only thing. You can't put it after the credits.
If you really wanted to, you could put it at the beginning of 9.
Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't like it at the beginning of 9. What if Star Wars did a cold open? Ah, look at that. What if Star Wars did a cold open before the crawl?
No.
No? See? Where else do you put it? It's Broom Kid. Look at this. I guarantee you,
You just don't need it.
This was you after watching, like, Phantom Menace.
Well, it's just not necessary in this movie.
I do think it's necessary. You gotta show the legend of Luke Skywalker. The Resistance is still out there. There is still hope after such... The Resistance went through so much crap throughout this entire movie, right? He had one little ounce of
I
hope.
think what makes this scene so hard to do is just that whole part of that movie was awful.
Yeah. That
And
definitely
that's the
doesn't help
problem.
it, yeah. Based on characters created by George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, everybody's favorite producer.
Also, I believe George Lucas helped write Episode 9.
Oh, did he really?
I think
I think he was a
brought him
consultant.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a... So,
Steve
that'll be
Young.
interesting.
Give him some...
Well, and when
input.
you're wrapping up all 9
Mhm.
films, you need more
to the
information about the
creator.
prequels.
Yeah.
So I think that helps.
Mm.
So yeah, bringing him in was smart if you want to wrap up everything. So.
Yeah. So that was our...
Look, there's a section of this movie that's absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But once you get past
I think
that,
the first act is strong, although there are some indications of some odd humor. The second act is rocky. The pacing is rough.
Mhm.
The Cantabite stuff is something you cannot ignore.
Yeah.
It's like I cannot defend that entire sequence.
Right.
It's rough. It's hard to get through.
But the
final act,
it was,
yeah.
it's really good.
it's really like
It's-
from
it's really good.
them being captured up and like as soon as Holdo does the thing
Mhm.
and goes through all the ships, which is something how has nobody thought of that, right? So smart, right?
Mhm.
From that point on, excellent.
Yeah.
From Cantabite and before that, awesome. One little section, for me at least, is what makes this movie not a great Star Wars movie, but a movie that I really, really like and something that I think is a really, really good Star Wars movie. Just shy of being great.
Again, I just think that middle part,
Mm.
and even parts in the beginning were a bit rough.
Yeah.
A little silly, bit of the
Nothing
silly
of Carrie
jokes.
Fisher.
You know, the whole Luke throwing the lightsaber thing. The beginning's rough, and then I think it really tanks,
Okay.
and then it spikes.
Okay. Did this
that's
viewing
how
help
it
you
goes
at all?
for me?
With me, like, kind of defending the middle section of the slowest space chase?
No, because I still don't like any of that
Okay.
part. I just think the end of this movie.
Mm. You see what I'm saying, though, with the arc, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
I
in
mean,
this movie has a lot
understand
greater
what you're
arcs than
saying.
Force
It's just
Awakens.
it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
But I do think that the end of this movie, I don't want to say it saves it,
Mm-hmm.
but it pretty much barely saves it to
Mhm,
me.
yeah.
Because it went from being, okay, we're off to a bit of a rocky start, but we're here in, like, we're kind of in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then it tanks really hard.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stays at a rough level for a
Mhm.
while,
And it just shoots up.
and it goes,
Mhm.
it shoots up. So
Yeah.
because I remember, you remember my face after the movie ended. I didn't know what to think.
I was very curious because after the screening, because I got to see it a day early, we did a crew screening. It was about the same. We were a little bit mixed when we were walking out. I was the one defending it, even though I was a little bit.
I didn't
rocky.
have a
When I
thought
watched
on
the
it.
second time, I liked it a lot more. And every
Yeah.
time I've watched it since my first viewing, I've liked it a little bit more every time.
After I saw it that first time,
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
have to see it again.
And we saw
And
the
it was
next day.
more of like I wanted to watch it again because I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
And after I saw it the second time,
Mhm.
it's really just that middle part just kills
Do you
it.
say that you like the movie, or no? Like, if you're at Rotten Tomatoes, 6 is the range where you give it a fresh review. Would you give it just barely a 6, or is it like a 5.5? Because for me,
here's the thing.
For me, Phantom Menace is about like a 4.5.
I would give the beginning about a 4.
Mm-hmm.
I would give the middle about a 1.
Okay.
And I would give the end about a 9.
All right. So that would average out to about like 3 to 9. Let's say that's the range, right? Average out that, have the 9. It'd be around a 6.
I mean, I gave a 4 in the beginning, 1, so that 5 plus 9 is 14 divided by 3.
14 divided by 3? What the heck is that? 14 divided by 3. It's 4.6. I don't think it's a 4.6 for you. That doesn't sound right.
It's probably right at 6.
Yeah.
If I'm giving it, like, that's probably the most I give it is a 6.
Alright.
I'm more of so leaning towards a 5,
Mhm.
which that was a 4.6. So that's pretty close. It's just.
If you're being generous, on a good day, you give a 6.
Well, and it's really the end saves it.
I try to push him over to the 6, guys. I'm trying. For all you Last Jedi defenders out there. I give this movie an 8. So even if you give it like a 5.5, we average out to about a 7. All right? Let's say that.
I would just give it a solid 5.
5?
Yeah.
Can you not? So you're saying half of this movie for you is not good?
Yeah.
I thought you were enjoying the beginning, like the first act, a lot more than
the
4.
The battle.
The 4 seems really
the battle
good.
in the very beginning. I
But like all the introduction stuff with Luke, it's really like even the planning of what they were doing with Rose and
here's
Finn.
the thing. All of Luke.
From this commentary, it does not seem like the beginning's a 4 for you. There's a couple of jokes.
Yeah, it just doesn't really land. It's a rough start.
All right. I tried.
There's moments. Yeah, there's moments I think here's the thing. 9 can push it up to like a 7.
Okay.
I would say I would give you that.
All right, give me that. I like
because they set up a lot of things. Now, if none of what we talked about, I mean,
I'm in the same boat with you. If episode 9 decides
all of that has to happen, right? What we talked about and what they've set up, half of that has to happen. Yeah. Whatever it is, whether whether Rey is a clone, whether Rey and Kylo team up more, if we see by the end of it, it's 2 parties type of thing,
and especially if they keep on this force projection idea, if they ignore this episode, even for me, it would drop down because then in the eyes of the entire trilogy as a whole, it will always stick out and stand out in a bad way, and that's what you definitely do not want to do. That's what you want to move away from at all costs.
And
that's
here's
my biggest
the thing.
fear.
One of the things I always like to say is when episode 5 came out.
Go back to Roger Ebert's review, I believe, because he's one of the most renowned critics ever. I don't think
people didn't like it.
Yeah,
people didn't like it because if you look at it, episode 5 is very different from episode 4. Very different. And once episode 6 came out, it all started connecting. Yeah. All the dots started connecting. So even though 5 was, and now for me, I mean 5 is my favorite movie. Episode 5 is my favorite.
If we're talking about theatrical, A New Hope. If we're talking about special editions, Empire is the best.
So it's kind of ironic how when episode 5 came out, if the internet was around back then, it would have had the same reaction as episode 8.
I do think us being in the era that we are is why this movie got a lot of hate, and a lot of it was unnecessary. Yeah. I do think a lot of the hate was trolls.
But see, episode 5 doesn't have the problems that this movie has.
That's very true.
And episode 5 is my favorite movie.
Well, we also can't go back.
Doesn't have
we also
problems.
can't go back to people who didn't like that movie back in 1980
I want to know
when it came out.
the reasons why, because for this one, the reasons why I don't like this movie is pretty clear. It's the Finn and Rose stuff is awful.
Yeah.
And Finn was one of my favorite characters in episode 7. So I was really upset with how they treated Finn because they ruined the character for me.
I can see people complaining about how Luke went off and was not with the gang. I can see people complaining about that. It's like, what is this side story with all this stuff? This
and Yoda was a bit weird.
Yoda's weird.
It was just so different.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people didn't like it. For this one, it is different, but the problems, there's glaring holes. Yeah. Where with the Canto Bite stuff and Finn and Rose's, and even Rose as a character is a bit off in certain places. The slow car chase or spaceship chase, whatever, that's rough. Hux in the beginning is very...
The Hux throughout the movie, I'd say, is problematic.
Yeah, Hux isn't very good in this movie.
Yeah.
Still no...
I do kind of want to...
Still no great stuff with the droids. The Falcon's not in it a lot. So there's some things that I'm just like, I wish there was more of this. I wish there was more of that. I wish they would have taken that out and put more of this. And that's the problem with this movie. Yeah. The Porgs, didn't expect it, but I love the Porgs.
The Porgs are great.
Kylo, fantastic.
Kylo Ren is the shining spot in this trilogy so far.
Rey is good.
Rey is really good.
Rey is really good.
They gave her more of a story in this movie, which
and
I
for what Luke was given was really good. Or Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
For what he was given was really good. The training was fine. I would like to see a little bit more training. I love the lessons
with the Force. I loved all of the...
I want 9 to start with more training.
Okay.
I think she's... Because you could tell in the throne room scene, she's still light years behind Kylo.
Yeah.
You can tell in that fight. And I think that's done on purpose.
Yeah.
So I think we need a little bit more training. I would love to see Obi-Wan. That's one kind of bummer. We know they're there.
Yeah.
Like we know
It's just kind of hard.
it's hard when you
without
don't
Alec
have,
Guinness.
right, when you don't have him, and you can use McGregor.
You can age him up, yeah.
You can just.
You know one indication
because he is Obi-Wan, right?
Here's
It's
one
not like
thing,
you're
though.
grabbing some guy that looks like Alex Guinness, right? You are grabbing, and now that McGregor is back in the fold, you never know.
Well, like for Endgame,
and
they
I would
had
love to see Anakin.
Yeah,
I know a
Portman-
lot of people may not like that. I think it would work.
Natalie Portman was back for the premiere for Endgame, right? And it didn't even click in my mind that maybe she would be in the movie, and she was in the movie, and that's great. And not only that, but she's back for Thor: Love and Thunder. So if they really dive into this and they go into this Obi-Wan show, and they have Hayden Christensen in this movie, and Hayden Christensen could possibly be in the Obi-Wan series in either flashbacks
Here's another
or
thing.
as Vader.
I'm sure you know about this, but the panel at I forget what
Was it
pan-
Celebration?
No,
or-
it wasn't a Celebration. It was the one after. But basically, Hayden Christensen and Palpatine.
Ian McDermott.
They were both supposed to have a panel, just
Okay.
them two,
Huh.
and they pulled it.
Oh, okay.
And it was right after Celebration or a little after. So before the third trailer came out, because the second trailer came out during Celebration, right? So again, why did they pull them?
Yeah.
Was it just kind of it just so happened to, or is it we didn't want them answering questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I
didn't
don't
want
know.
them giving anything away on
They can-
accident.
They can move stuff around. They can do some interesting stuff.
I
To
would
wrap
say
up everything though, because this is my channel, I think I'm right. Last Jedi is a great movie. He's wrong. I have no idea what you've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. That is our commentary for The Last Jedi. Thanks guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I believe, did we do a Force Awakens commentary?
hopefully.
We might have done a Force Awakens commentary.
With
If you wanna
episode
see
9
more
coming
stuff-
out,
Yeah, we'll probably do it.
You know what? With episode 9 coming out, we did. If you missed it, go check it out.
Go check it out. Yeah, links in the description. If you want us to continue that Spider-Man commentary series, or if you want this guy to watch some horror movies so you can see him scream, please comment below. Give us all the support in the world so he can watch some scary movie because it'd be a lot of fun. Thanks guys for watching. And
How about this? If we get 100 likes on this video,
100 likes.
I will do it.
okay. So if you don't know, Brandon will scream at everything. If you know who Josh McCouga is, look him up.
Hold on.
That
What's
is
the
basically
most liked video on your channel?
What's the most liked video on
Yeah.
my channel? It's the How to Train Your Dragon video. It has no, that's not fair. Okay.
How many likes is that?
No, it has 280. That's not fair.
What's the second then?
The second most liked? I'd have to look it up.
I'm curious. I'm curious if I'm not doing enough.
I don't know if there's
think
a way.
100 is solid.
I don't know if there's it might be honestly. Let's see. A lot of 2s and 3s. Thanks guys so much for 3 likes. There we go. 3 likes. I might edit this part. Oh, 12. Nothing ever happens to Meeker. 12 likes. That was my short.
Okay. If this video hits 100 likes, which I think this video could get views. If it hits 100 likes, I will watch it.
All right. Cool.
And do a commentary on it.
All right. You heard it, guys. Let's hit 100.
If we get
make multiple accounts.
if you double that, I'll watch it and it too.
Okay, cool. So thanks guys for watching this video. Subscribe, more commentaries, hopefully coming soon, and I'll see you guys all there.